Good evening and welcome to Monday, June 2nd, 1941. My name is Henry Chop, your host. If you haven't figured it out already on this channel, we reconstruct radio schedules going day by day. I will tell you what we are going to listen to in just a little bit. If you enjoy the content of this channel, not only subscribe, but please donate to its upkeep. Because of the vintage radio, music, and films that we share, this channel does not qualify for YouTube monetization. Help motivate us to consistently post this wonderful content. We like to think that this channel is more interesting and entertaining than any other World War II channel on YouTube. Help us keep going by donating. In the expanded description section to this video, you will find two links for which to donate. One is for PayPal and the other is for a GoFundMe. If the GoFundMe link is outdated on this video, go to this channel's description or our latest video where you will find an updated link. Any little bit helps. Please, 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 I'm begging. If you could see me, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you to subscribe to this channel and click on that bell icon. I know you're out there. I know you watch these videos or listen to them, actually. It's more like something you listen to. And click on that bell icon. Get us into that Google algorithm. We would really appreciate it. Let me tell you what we're going to listen to tonight as we go through a Monday. We don't have any newscasts or news events tonight, unfortunately. Some days are just slow news days, but we do have a lot of good radio entertainment nonetheless. We're going to start out at 2 in the afternoon with Against the Storm, that typical soap opera over NBC Red. And then we have the Goldbergs over CBS. And then Lum and Abner at, by the way, the Goldbergs were at 2:15. And then Lum and Abner at 5:30. And then we have a couple adventure programs with The Adventures of Superman at 7:15 in the evening. All the times I'm giving you are from the Chicago Tribune because this program is based in the Chicago area. Then we have The Lone Ranger at 7:30 in the evening. And the title of this Lone Ranger episode is The Sheriff of Clayborne County. And then at 8 o'clock in the evening, we have the Lux Radio Theater version of They Drive By Night, starring George Raft, Lana Turner, and Lucille Ball. And if you remember the movie correctly, Lucille Ball works at a conveyor belt in a candy factory, and a lot of funny stuff happens. Nah, not really. But it's kind of wild to have Lucille Ball in a dramatic role. By the way, this Lux Radio Theater production does not have, it's only 45 minutes long. It's missing the opening, the closing, the commercials, whatever. You just have the story. I tried to find a complete version of this program. I just was not able to find one. And then we are going to close it out tonight over NBC Red at 9:30 in the evening with the Cavalcade of America and the story of Anna Ella Carroll. And her story is a very interesting story. It's a piece of history that I did not know about, and I think I want to read up more about her. So let's turn on this old tube radio, that's our time machine, and give this stuff a listen.
Cameron imagines a homecoming such as this for the future. Today, in Against the Storm. We bring you another chapter of Against the Storm, written by Sandra Michael and presented by Procter & Gamble, the makers of ivory. blame you, ladies, for being enthusiastic about the wonderful bargain offer new Double Quick Ivory Flakes is making. You certainly are getting a value. One pair or several pairs of beautiful Boulevard brand crepe silk stockings at far less than you could buy them in the stores.
And believe me, these crepe silk stockings are real quality. They're full-fashioned, all silk from top to toe, and made by a famous hosiery maker. They're especially flattering to wear, too, because they're knit inside out to give you that wonderful, smooth, dull finish.
Yes, and the heel and foot are designed in the new, improved way, without side seams where runs so often start. And these 3-thread crepe stockings come in a lovely suntan shade called Tiara, a shade that goes with all your bright-colored dresses. So send for your beautiful Boulevard brand stockings today. Send for several pairs. They're a marvelous bargain. These stockings are so sheer, so beautiful, that when we showed them to hundreds of women, most of them thought they should cost at least half again as much as we're asking. In fact, dozens of them thought they cost $1 or more. But here's all they cost you. For each pair, simply send 50 cents and one Ivory Flakes box top, either size. Address Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. These stockings are available in sizes 8.5 to 11, and be sure to include your stocking size. Now, I hope you'll take care of these lovely stockings nightly with new Double Quick Ivory Flakes. You'll be thrilled when you see how this easy, quick washing care helps those stockings wear. And new Double Quick Ivory Flakes are so speedy, they dissolve twice as fast as ever before. So count on this gentle washing care to help your new stockings stay in fine condition. Remember, just send 50 cents with your name and address and one Ivory Flakes box top to Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. Allow about 2 weeks for delivery. And hurry, friends, because this offer is limited. It's good in the United States only. Philip Cameron knew as soon as he opened the door of the apartment that Christie hadn't come home yet from campus. It was curious, he thought, how quickly you can tell when you enter a house you share with someone else whether anyone is at home or not. Philip stood still in the dark hall when he remembered that very soon he'd be coming home to an empty house every evening, and there'd be no expectation of hearing Christie's key in the lock at any moment. This would be a horrible, quiet, lifeless place.
Why, that's ridiculous. Chances are it'll be a good deal noisier than I've ever known it to be when...
Daddy! Daddy! Is that you?
Yes, it's Daddy, all right.
Hey! You should take me when I jump.
Well, I've caught you now, my fine fellow. And how are you going to get down, do you suppose?
I don't care. I like it up here. Ooh, there's a spider web on the ceiling.
Uh-huh. Oh, well, we'll just let it stay, huh?
Yes, or the spider will have no place to live. Nanny, look how big I am.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Cameron.
Oh, Nanny.
See how big I am, Nanny?
Yes, indeed, I see how big you are. What I should like to know, however, will the two gentlemen have dinner tonight? Or perhaps you're not the two I'm expecting for roasted young chicken, strawberries and cream, and fresh new shortbread.
Oh, Nanny.
Oh, Nanny.
Well, we're exactly the people you've been expecting for dinner, aren't we, son?
Yes, Nanny knows we are.
Oh, not to stay out here running up and down the hall the evening through. Well, dinner's going to be served in a minute. You know that.
Well, come along, son. Help me wash up for dinner. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I'm washed. I'm washed for dinner.
Yeah, that's a likely picture of a homecoming in this place. Where would we put a boy and a nurse in this little box of a place? And who says Lucretia and her Mr. Tyler are going to let Peter Olden come down here at all? Well, yes, maybe they will, but he can't come to this place, that's certain. Have to find a house. Seems to me there was one Christie used to talk about. Maybe that's still available.
let his mind follow that thought while he washed up for dinner without the imagined help of his young son. He thought of the house as if Christy would be there. Thinking about that made it seem believable. When Christy came home and he could see by her eyes that nothing had changed, he felt a shock of disappointment. And all the confusion, the unreality of the last few days overwhelmed him again as if for the first time. During dinner, Christy finally mentioned the subject they'd both been avoiding.
Well, I meant to tell you, they've got someone else to take over my summer classes.
Oh.
So I'm free to go as soon as I clear everything up after I make out the grades after exams.
You're free to go, Chris? I wish I had as much power to give you that freedom or deny it as the university has.
Please, Phil.
Okay, my dear. I just said I wish.
I wish a lot of things, too, Phil. But that's a hopeless business.
You wish into the past, darling. That's why it's hopeless. You wish something hadn't been. Well, what I wish is that something might be. But I can see you don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to because I just can't.
When you go to New York, you're going to stay with Nicky Scott?
Isn't human nature ridiculous, Phil? You said, when you go to New York. And I actually didn't like to hear you say that. As if you accepted the idea I'm going.
Oh, Chris, darling.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know why I do things like that. Announce and catalog my crazy reactions. You see, it doesn't mean anything that I felt like that, except a flash of, I suppose, injured vanity. With my rational mind, I do want you to accept the idea that I'm going.
I wish to heaven you'd go soon then, Chris. You expect me to take a good deal these days, don't you?
And what have you expected of... No, I'm sorry. We don't want to talk like this to each other. Exams are over the 10th. I'll leave not later than a week after that. Phil, I've been wondering. Have you decided what you'll do this summer?
Do? I'm not going to do anything in particular.
I mean about your boy.
I haven't decided anything, no.
Do you suppose you'll have him down here?
I don't know. This isn't much of a place for a youngster, and I suppose they'd send his nurse along, Lucretia's nanny.
We should have had that house now, shouldn't we? How odd that it was I who wanted the house and you who didn't.
I'd say that's probably the least of the odd things that have happened to us. Wouldn't you, Chris?
I suppose so. I wanted to tell you. When I talked to Father the other day, he said that he and Mother would like the idea of having a grandson come to visit. So I thought if you knew that, you might take him over to see them.
Thanks very much for telling me. I wonder if you have any idea how much it means to me to hear that, Chris. And there's another odd thing, too. Once when we were happy together, I hoped that your family would include me among them someday. Now that I've lost you, I seem to be admitted to the family.
Christy tried to think of an answer. There were a great many things she might have said, but not one would form itself in her mind. She looked away, and she let the cold, blank, stupid silence remain untouched. Philip said nothing either. After a long while, she couldn't bear it anymore, and the thought flashed into her mind just in the second it took her to look at Philip, that if his eyes showed as much unhappiness as she herself felt, then she would give up. She would But now she looked at him. Philip was listening, preoccupied, to something outdoors.
Listen. That's funny, isn't it? Sounds just like crickets. I thought crickets didn't show up until September, didn't you?
Friends, don't miss out on the marvelous bargain offer on beautiful Boulevard brand pure silk crepe stockings. Remember, for a limited time only, new Double Quick Ivory Flakes is making you this special offer. And say, if you could see these 3-thread stockings, you'd be sending for several pairs right away. We showed them to hundreds of women, and most of them thought they should cost at least half again as much as we're asking. They're full-fashioned, pure silk from top to toe. They're knit with the smooth, dull side on the outside, so they look especially flattering and glamorous. And the shade is a lovely suntan color called Tiara. It goes with everything. So send in today while the bargain lasts. Now, here's all you do. Send 50 cents with your name and address and one Ivory Flakes box top, either size. Mail to Ivory Flakes, Cincinnati, Ohio. Stockings available in sizes 8.5 to 11, and be sure to include your stocking size. This offer is good in the United States only.
Don't you know when you expect the boy down here, Phil?
Of course not. I haven't even written to ask his mother when he'll be allowed to come. I suppose I might as well do that right now.
Out in Arizona, Peter Alden, his mother, and his stepfather prepare for a trip to the east. Tomorrow, in Against the Storm. This is Richard Stark, wishing you a good day for the makers of Ivory. 99 and 44 100% pure.
Stay tuned next for The Goldbergs.
A problem in morality and life is sometimes like a fragile vase, and some people, when they find they cannot possess such a thing, try to smash it. This is what Sylvia Allison did to the love she had for Sammy when he no longer could bear the truth of her life and character. She tried to put an end to herself and Sammy. Unfortunately, it was Sammy who was hurt. And now, Molly and Jake and Rosie are waiting at the hospital to see him, waiting to find out how he is.
Ma.
Come, Molly.
All right. Mama, darling. All right.
Sit down, Molly.
Yes. Why did you come, Rosalie? Come and sit down, Mama, darling. Why can't I go in to see Sammy?
The doctor don't want him to talk. He said he'd call us when he wanted us.
Sit down, Mama, darling. Yes. Fix your tie, Jake.
All right.
The doctor said he'd call us when he wants us, huh? Yes, Mama, darling. Then we'll wait.
Yes.
And they wait. They sit there in that small, quiet room waiting. The great hospital is silent around them. For it and for the Goldbergs, there's nothing to say. This is the moment in which every mind becomes its own prisoner, having no one to whom it can communicate. Jake looks at the floor. He looks at his hands. Rosie plays with a loose button on her dress. And Molly does nothing. Impassive as a statue, still as one of those statues of the Mother God that are found in ruined temples of old and forgotten civilizations, she sits, and she thinks of herself, her life, and Sammy.
Wait. We sit and we wait. What else can we do but wait? Why don't I feel anything? What am I waiting for? If I never saw Sammy again, what would happen to me? You live. You go on living. Didn't Mrs. Greenspan's son die? She went on. She went on living. I remember how I used to see her in the butcher shop, and you wondered how she could laugh, and even bargain with him for a penny or 2 pennies. And then when we heard she went to a ball, it wasn't even a year after, not even. Not me. Not me.
Mama, darling, do you want me to get you something? No, darling. No, my kid. Are you sure?
A little smelling salts, Molly?
Nothing, Jake. No, nothing at all. The doctor said he'd call us, huh?
Yes.
Maybe it was my fault. Maybe all the way back at Glastonbury it was my fault. Maybe this is a punishment. I was always able to find something good, something to love in everybody. And then Sylvia came, and Sammy loved her. And in Sylvia I couldn't find anything good. I refused to see, because it was Sammy. I wanted the best girl in the world for him. I couldn't see what I always knew, that the one you love is the best for you. I could have tried to help her. Maybe she would have trusted me, and now things would have been different.
Are you all right, Mama, darling? Yes. I'm fine.
She's fine. Very fine. How old she looks. I never noticed it before. Why did she ever have to marry me? One struggle after another, without even a thank you. No, I mustn't take any money from Allison. I have to think how to get some money. I mustn't ask Molly, and I mustn't speak to her about it. Not money I need for Sammy. Let him only get well. I'll work for the rest of my days and pay back my debt. The rest of my days. How many days do I have that I can work? I lived already. I did my part. And why? Here I am, an old man already. And my family is here with me. And who are we and what are we? It's better not to think. Living is a habit. You live, and for why or what? What is she thinking?
Jake, do you want something, Mama, darling? No. Jake.
Yes, Molly, dear.
Promise me one thing. You wouldn't take any money from Allison.
Why should I take money from Allison?
My ring, Jake, and my lavalier.
Don't worry.
I was going to have that ring. That was going to be my ring when I was 18. Why do people plan so much? As long as I live, I'll never forget this room. This is something we're going to talk about all through our lives. If Sammy gets well, he'll talk about it too. Let me see it so I can be sure I remember right. There are 1, 2, 6 chairs, a couch, a table, and 2 flower pictures. If Sammy lives, and if he doesn't, well, it'd be so terrible if he dies. There'll be so much fuss if Sammy dies now. He lived the best part of his life. That's what all people say. When you're young is the time to live. I love Sammy more than anyone. Yes, sometimes more than my mother. I think I do. He's more like me. I wish I didn't. I should love my mother best. I always thought we'd be together. Just Sammy and me. After my mother and father died. All people die. That's true. All people die. Sammy's gonna die. I know it. I'll never see his children. I'll never be a real aunt. I'll never be anything without Sammy.
You live, and all the badness in the world, all the pain, all the suffering seems far away. And you can laugh, and you can work, and you say things will change. You forgive by forgetting. But when you meet one person, a Sylvia, then you find no forgetting, no forgiveness. I could have drawn it to me 100 times by just putting out my hand. My fault. My fault.
A man lives and he dies. And when I'm the man, I, Jacob Goldberg, what have I got to show for the years I passed here on earth? My children. Sammy. Poor Sammy. And that girl, Sylvia. I was ready to love her. I was ready to be her father as well as Sammy's. I should have seen. I should have seen. I should have listened to Molly. All my fault. My fault.
If Sammy dies, I wonder if they'll blame Sylvia. I wonder what'll happen. Will I hate her or blame her? When a person's bad, who can you blame? But if Sammy dies, it must be somebody's fault. Somebody.
The nurse, Jack. The nurse, Jack. Oh.
You may come in now.
Each one awakens from his or her own thoughts and looks at the nurse. She stands waiting for them, prim in her white starched uniform, and they arise and follow her into the hallway, walking slowly to the room in which Sammy lies.
Stay tuned next for Lum and Abner.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. You know, we hope you're all getting a lot of enjoyment out of these Lum and Abner programs. With their old-fashioned fun and amusing arguments, these two lovable old characters always seem to make us feel better, don't they? And that's what Alka-Seltzer does, too. It helps you feel better. For example, when the food you eat disagrees with you, and as a result you suffer with acid indigestion, an upset stomach, and a dull headache, let Alka-Seltzer set you right. Remember, Alka-Seltzer offers you twofold relief from your discomfort. The alkalizing ingredient, which it contains, offers fast relief by reducing the excess acid condition in your stomach, usually the immediate cause of your distress. And at the same time, Alka-Seltzer's analgesic pain reliever quickly relieves the dull headache which so frequently accompanies an upset stomach. Well, it's the quick-acting analgesic pain reliever plus the alkalizer in Alka-Seltzer that has made it such a favorite with millions of people the country over. Try it yourself the next time the food you eat disagrees with you. Yes, take Alka-Seltzer for acid indigestion and heartburn, for muscular aches and pains and fatigue, for cold distress, and morning after misery, too. You'll feel better fast. And now we take you to Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner are still having trouble getting their Jot-'em-Down store underway again. About the only results of their first week's business is the accumulation of a clothes dummy, 10 pairs of rabbits, and a mule that Abner traded for. But still no cash. As we look in on the little community today, it's early morning, and we find Abner down at the store building new crates for the rabbits. Listen.
Get these rabbits penned up before that Lum gets down here is what I want to do. He finds out they've had all that lettuce and carrots that he bought in there at the county seat. He's just going to hit the ceiling. Maybe when he sees that I've got crates built for all of them, why, he won't be so mad, though. Doggy, that's a pretty good job if I do say it myself. Yes, sir, that looks all right. I believe I could build a house if I managed to do it. Wouldn't want to build it in here, though. I couldn't get the thing out the door. I know I don't want to live here in the store. Well, I believe I'll just sit down and rest a little before I undertake to catch them things and put them in there. They run like rabbits. Morning, Lum.
Who was you talking to?
Why, I was, Mr. Dilbeck, I reckon.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Sitting down here talking to a clothes dummy. You ought to be bored for the samples. What's these contraptions sitting here?
Rabbit crates.
Well, what's the matter with the crate they was in?
Well, it was too little, so I let 'em out of that yesterday. Come down here to feed 'em, and they laying there panting and all crowded up in there, so I just turned 'em loose.
Just turned them loose here in the store? Wait a minute. Where's all that lettuce and them carrots that was in them boxes? That's what I thought. Aye, Grannies, that settles it.
Well, I never thought about that when I turned 'em loose, Lum. They must have been awful hungry, though.
Hungry? They must have been starved. 20 rabbits at $23 worth of lettuce and carrots.
36 rabbits, Lum.
36? I thought you said you just took 20 in on that debt.
I did.
You mean you've traded for 16 more? Oh, I never seen them little ones there. Oh, my goodness.
Well, maybe I done wrong when I taken them in on the debt. I thought I was doing right.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Oh, they're too little to eat yet, Lum.
I mean, here we are trying to raise enough money to restock the store, and you take in a bunch of animals on a debt. Now we got them to feed. You weren't satisfied with a bunch of rabbits. You had to take in that mule, too. He'll eat more in one day than we'll make in a week.
Oh, he ain't eating nothing, Lum. I turned him out yesterday, just going to let him run loose. He's grazing around on these vacant lots here in town. He'll get plenty to eat. Don't worry about him.
That's the first smart thing you've done. Ought to turn them rabbits out, too.
Well, now, we're going to make some money with that mule. I'll tell you that right now. I had a chance to trade him this morning.
For what?
Well, that's the trouble. All he offered me was 3 tons of hay.
3 tons of hay and you never taken it?
Why, no. What use have I got for hay if I trade the mule off?
For goodness sakes.
I offered to trade if he'd loan us a mule till he ate the hay up.
Well, we could have sold the hay here in the store. We ain't got a bale in the house.
Doggies, I never thought about that. I was just thinking that if we never had the mule, why there wasn't no...
I know. I wish you'd stop trying to think. This trading you're doing around here'd bankrupt the government.
Well, I've just been trying to help.
And you're helping us right into the poorhouse is what you're doing. Look at that dummy sitting there you bought.
Who? Oh, well, now, Mr. Dilbeck don't eat nothing.
No, but you give $5 worth of groceries for him. Got about as much use for him as we'd have for a steamboat.
Steamboat? Well, talk about me trading. Now, what in the world do we want with one of them?
Well, what do we want with Mr. Dilbeck? Or that dummy? I wish you'd quit calling him that. You got me to doing it.
Well, he looks just like Mr. Dilbeck that used to work there in the bank at the county seat.
Well, supposing he does.
Well, it just sort of makes the place look more important, having a banker standing around this way.
I don't like the way he stares at you. Gives me the flibberty gibbets. Every time I look up, he's staring a hole through me.
Oh, he can out-stare you. I tried that.
Makes a feller feel guilty. Looks at you like you'd stole something.
That's the way he always looked at you in the bank, too. I walked up to his window in there many a time to borrow money.
taken one look at his face and just turned around and walked out without even asking him for it.
Yeah, we ought to have somebody like him here in the store. Maybe we wouldn't lose so much on a credit. Trouble is, neither one of us ever learned to say no.
Yeah, well, we've done got him in here, Lum. All we got to do is just make him the credit manager.
I ain't talking about this dummy. I'm talking about Mr. Dilbeck. That thing couldn't say no.
Well, Mr. Dilbeck never did neither. Never said nothing. Just shook his head no. And looked at you like you was crazy for even asking him for it.
Yeah, and being able to shake his head the right direction made that bank a lot of money, too.
I dog his Lum. You know, we might rig up a string to his head to where when we pulled it, he'd shake his head no.
Are you serious about that?
Well, we could make him say no for us.
Do you think folks would walk up to that dummy and ask him if they could have stuff on a credit?
Well, we could tell them to.
Tell them to. Then they would know we was crazy, sure enough. Well, Swan Abner, I believe having this store closed for a year ain't helped you very much.
No, I can't see where it done me any good neither, Lum. Financial, anyway.
If you'd quit spending so much time with them rabbits and that mule and Mr. Dilbeck there and concentrate on this store business, maybe... Wait a minute. There comes Cedric. Is he just now getting down to work?
I reckon so. It's the first I saw of him.
That's what we get for making him a vice president. He's supposed to be down here and sweep out every morning the first thing.
Well, now, don't jump on me about it. I was down here an hour early this morning to get these rabbit crates built. Wasn't I, Mr. Dilbeck?
Good afternoon, Cedric.
If you could answer.
You mean good morning, don't you? It ain't but 7:30. You're mixed up, Mr. Lum.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be here at 7 o'clock and sweep out.
Well, I think I overslept this morning or something.
For goodness sakes, laying in bed till 7 o'clock. Day's half gone, might not.
Well, I stopped and watched Grandpappy Spears for a few minutes over there. He was out there chunking rocks at our mule.
Chunking rocks at our mule?
Why, Dad, blame him. I'll go over there and pull them chin whiskers of his out one at a time for that.
What's he doing rocking our mule?
Oh, he was mad 'cause the mule broke through his fence and ate up about half of his garden over there.
Oh, my goodness. That Grandpap thinks more of that garden than he does his woman, too.
Of all the places for that mule to break in, he would pick Grandpap's garden. Granny's Abner, you traded for that mule. I'm going to make you a present. I'm going to give you my interest in it.
Oh, no, you don't. No, sir. He's just as much yours as he is mine.
No, he ain't. You're the one that traded for him.
I don't care. He's ours. I traded for him for the store. We both got him here.
I never had no say-so in the deal. You just come in the store and said you got him.
Yeah, and you taking it, too. You never give him back to me then. Don't try to give him back to me now. I won't have him. I'll give you my interest.
No, you can't do that. Cedric, I'll give you my interest.
I'll give you my part of him, too, Cedric. The mule's all yours
now.
Well, much obliged. I got a whole mule now. I'll call up Clarabelle and tell her about it.
There comes Grandpap up out there, Lum. Grandpappy Spears coming in now.
Wait, I seen him long ago. You better just stay out of this conversation, Cedric. Grandpap finds out that mule belongs to you, he's liable to try to start a ruckus with you.
Well, what for?
Never mind. Be careful what you say now, Abner.
Oh, yeah.
Well, howdy, Grandpap.
Come in, Grandpap.
Howdy.
What's on your mind?
Say, do you fellers own a black mule with a crop in his ear?
Right or left ear? Right ear?
Yeah, right ear, I believe it was.
Right ear, huh? Has he got sort of a low sway back, Grandpap?
Yeah, sort of swayed back.
Stands high at the withers?
Oh, yeah.
Sort of a glaze in his left front eye?
That's the feller.
Sad look in his face like he ain't particular happy about everything.
Well, I never noticed particular about whether he's happy or not.
Got a wire cut on his right front foot?
Yeah, I believe he has. Well, what color black was he, Grandpap? What color black?
Yeah.
I mean, is he black or sort of a light brown black? Well, just a sort of a mule color, black.
Sort of looks like he's about 18-year-old.
Yeah, stands pretty square on his legs, sort of like a cook stove.
No, don't own him, Grandpap. Fact is, I ain't got a mule of no kind.
No, me neither.
No.
Well, that's funny. You knowed how to describe him that way.
Well, I just sort of thinking if I was looking for a mule about what I was looking for, that's what I was doing.
Just talking to Mose Moose just now, and he said he thought he belonged to you fellers.
No, sir, he don't. No, sir.
I wish that Mose would tend to his own business. He's got to where he's the worst tattletale in this town. And I wished I knowed who it belonged to.
Well, don't come over here and try to make us pay for something a stray mule let up.
Who said anything about him eating anything up? I ain't trying to make nobody pay for nothing. I just want to find out who the mule belongs to and want to buy him. Buy him? Yeah, he's a dead ringer for that and a mine over there at the place. Make me a good team. I'd give $40 for him.
Huh?
Mr. Grandpap, I believe you just bought yourself a mule.
Well, say, it seems that no matter how many little troubles Lum and Abner stumble into, they always come out with a smile. And you know, Alka-Seltzer's like that, too. Yes, sir, when too much to eat or drink causes you to suffer with a headache, acid indigestion, or a morning after misery, just you take a sparkling glass of Alka-Seltzer and see if you don't smile with relief. Listen, friends, do you ever experience a miserable morning now and then when you wake up suffering with a dull headache, an upset stomach due to acid indigestion, and a bad taste in your mouth? Wouldn't you like to turn off that alarm clock and go back to sleep for an hour or two? But duty calls and you've got to get up. Well, say, next time this happens to you, get up and drink a glass of refreshing, pleasant-tasting Alka-Seltzer. You'll feel better fast, because Alka-Seltzer offers you the relief you want for that aching head and the alkalizer you need to neutralize excess stomach acid, both at the same time. Your whole day will look brighter if you remember to help yourself to the twofold relief that Alka-Seltzer offers the next time you wake up feeling headachy and upset. Just try it and see. Ask your druggist for a package of Alka-Seltzer tonight. You may need the quick, pleasant relief it offers one of these mornings soon. Be sure to listen to Lum and Abner tomorrow night at this same time. Lum and Abner are now on the air every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday evening at 7 to 15 p.m. over this station. Lou Crosby speaking. See you tomorrow. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Stay tuned next for the adventures of Superman.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. As you remember, young Jimmy Olsen, believing he was going to Clark Kent's assistance, stumbled on a large seaplane moored in a cove near the hideout shack from which Dr. Deutsch, the espionage agent, is working. A stray, homeless dog Jimmy had picked up on the road, frightened by a clap of thunder, leaped into the cabin of the plane. Jimmy went after him, tripped against the controls, and suddenly found himself roaring up into the storm-swept night, a lone passenger on a mysterious, unpiloted plane. Meanwhile, back in the shack, Clark Kent, in order to gain more information about the espionage ring, is allowing himself to be Dr. Deutsch's prisoner. Deutsch's assistant, Hans, has just completed a call over the elaborate shortwave radio set in the shack. A jagged streak of lightning splits the darkness and thunder crashes overhead.
Before the rain comes, we'd better go down and see that the plane is properly moored. There will be a high wind tonight.
Ja, Herr Doktor. I go.
Where is this plane you've been talking about, Deutsch?
Moored in the cove. It is a very special seaplane. You asked before about the control board with all the dials. That is for the plane.
Oh, radio control.
Exactly. More perfect even than human hands. But you will see how it works. You will be flying in it shortly.
You're being very kind to me, Deutsch.
Not so kind, Herr Kent. It will be the last flight you ever take.
I don't think so, Deutsch. I have an idea I'll be flying for a long time, and not in a plane.
I see what you mean. Wings, eh? I must say, Kent, you are a man of courage. Facing certain death, you can make jokes.
What do you intend doing with me?
I'm going to send you to Volcano Island, where you will be well taken care of until I have no further use for you.
Oh? And where is Volcano Island?
Not too far from here.
Is that the headquarters of your ring?
I suppose you might call it that. On the island, Kent, the master plan is being worked out carefully. From there will come the final stroke that will bring the world to its knees.
Oh, it sounds very ambitious. What is the master plan?
Now you are becoming too inquisitive. Let it suffice to say that it's a plan of domination that cannot possibly fail. When it's put into effect, my people will rule the universe. It's beginning to rain. You will not have a very pleasant trip, Herr Kent.
Doctor, the plane.
What is it?
The plane is gone. Oh, it's impossible. It is gone, Herr Doctor. The mooring lines are broken.
Are you mad?
I did not believe it myself.
Tune in the radio control. Mach schnell.
Ja.
How did we set the plane before we left it?
Southeast by south.
Turn the compass dial. Southeast by south.
Ja.
Stay where you are, Herr Kent. Remember, I still hold this revolver.
I have it, Herr Doctor. The plane is in the air at 5,000 feet.
Bring her back.
I have lost it. The storm is interfering.
Bring it again, you... What's the trouble, Hans?
It is hard to control in the storm.
Give it more power.
Ja. That does it. Now it is level.
Change the course. Bring her back.
I'm afraid, Herr Doctor.
Afraid of what?
There's not enough gasoline to bring it back.
How far is it from the island?
Not more than 30 miles.
It has gas enough to carry it there, of course.
Yeah.
We cannot tell who is on the plane. But whoever it is must never reach the island alive. We will have to sacrifice the plane. Direct it into the mouth of the volcano, Hans.
Into the volcano? It will disappear.
Precisely. Then there will be no wreckage to trace. Nothing floating to shore. In the volcano it will crash. There will be no trace of the plane and no trace of its passengers.
Could we not land the plane on an island?
No. We can take no chances. Do as I say.
Ja, Herr Doctor.
Unaware that Jimmy Olsen is the only passenger aboard the storm-tossed radio-controlled plane, Clark Kent stands by as Dr. Deutsch orders it directed into the cavernous heart of the extinct volcano. Meanwhile, aboard the plane itself, Jimmy awaits what he believes will be certain destruction, his mongrel dog whimpering in his lap.
Don't be frightened, old fella. Whatever's going to happen's going to happen. Gosh, I wish I knew how to run this plane. To make matters worse, the motors are giving out. This thing suddenly decides to take a nosedive. I can't understand how this plane is flying without any pilot. Maybe I'm dreaming. Gosh, if lightning ever strikes this plane, we're goners, Storm. Guess it doesn't matter much. We're probably goners anyway. I don't know why you had to jump into the cabin and make me follow you. What were you looking for? Oh, it wasn't your fault, Storm. You didn't know. Here now, you just stay right here on the seat while I go up front and try to play with the controls again. Maybe I can do something. I'll be right back. Sure pitching and tossing. I don't know how this plane stays up the way it does in all this wind. Let's see, the controls are over here. That's right. Oh, let's see if I can budge them. No, they're all locked. Except the one I bumped against when we took off, and I can't get that back either. It doesn't look too good. I wonder where we are. Over the ocean, I guess. Can't see a thing through the window. The motors are missing worse than ever. We're dropping lower. Storm! Storm!
Well, Hans, how is it coming?
Good, Herr Doctor.
The course of the radio plane is set into the volcano?
Yeah.
You don't care how you kill as long as you kill. Isn't that so, Deutsch?
Your comments do not interest me at the moment, Herr Kent.
They'll interest you sooner or later. They'll interest a court of law, too. The Grayson murder, the murder of the old caretaker. No doubt Lewis's murder, and now this.
You know too much, my young friend. Far too much. And because of that knowledge, you will give up your life.
On Volcano Island?
On Volcano Island.
I can think of no pleasanter place to die.
You will change your mind, I can promise you. You still have control, Hans.
Yeah, good control. The plane nears the island in a few minutes.
I cannot understand who could have taken it.
Herr Doctor, there was something I forgot.
What is it?
This I found on the shore near the mooring.
Eh? Oh, a cap.
Let me see that cap.
Possibly you know the owner, Herr Kent?
I said let me see it.
Why not? Here. Well, whose cap is it?
Deutsch, you'd better bring that plane down to a safe landing.
Are you out of your mind?
You heard what I said. Bring that plane down safely.
Stop this nonsense.
This isn't nonsense.
Stay away from that door.
Sorry, Deutsch, but you forced me to leave. There's something I've got to do.
Stand back, Kent, or I shoot you down. I warn you.
So long. I'll be seeing you. You wasted bullets, Deutsch.
Clark Kent has given way to Superman. That cap belonged to Jimmy Olsen, and if he's in that plane, I've got to save him before it dives into the volcano. Up! Up! And away!
I don't see how any plane could stay aloft in weather like this. I hope I'm wrong about that being Jimmy's cat, but I don't think so. It was the same color, and it had that British Air Corps insignia on it, the one I gave Jimmy last week. Southeast by south is the course the plane is on. Should be overtaking at any moment now. Oh, I wish it wasn't so dark. Even my eyes can't pierce this curtain of rain for any distance. If I can only spot the island and all this ocean, I could get there before the plane. What's that dark patch below? That's the island. And there's the plane, diving straight for that dead volcano. Down, down. I can't get in front of it. There isn't time. I'll have to grab the tail and pull it into the sea. Faster, faster. Now, got it. Into the ocean with it. Oh, I'll have to smash the side in to get Jimmy out. Oh, he's unconscious. Best thing to do, I guess, is get him ashore. You'll be all right, Jim. As good as new. Up and away! Storm seems to have died. Well, that's a help. Jimmy's coming, too. Gonna be awfully surprised to see Clark Kent, but I think I can explain it. Jim.
Oh. Where am I?
You're okay, Jim.
Mr. Kent. How? What happened?
Just take it easy for a minute. You had a tough time of it.
The plane started to fall.
Yes, I know.
But how did you get here, Mr. Kent?
Why, I was tied up in the rear compartment of the plane. When it crashed into the sea, I got loose. I pulled you out and swam to this island.
Where's Storm?
Who?
Storm, my dog.
Your dog?
Yes, sir. I picked him up on the road. He was in the plane with me. What happened to him?
I didn't see any dog, Jimmy.
Oh, gosh, he must have drowned. Gee, Mr. Kent. He was such a swell dog. I don't know what I'm going to... Storm, you're all right. Mr. Kent, he swam to shore. Oh, good old Storm. You found me, didn't you? Attaboy. Isn't he swell, Mr. Kent?
Oh, he's awful funny looking.
Yeah, that's why I like him. Lie down, Storm. Atta fella. He minds me perfectly. Say, where are we, Mr. Kent?
On an island. I think it's called Volcano Island. But tell me, how did you happen to get into that plane?
Well, you won't bawl me out, will you?
Bawl you out? Why should I?
Because I did something I maybe shouldn't have.
What?
Well, we got a message at the office.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. I hear a plane.
So do I.
Coming nearer. There it is. Over to the left.
Circling and coming down. Do you think it'll land?
Let's see where it can land. Look, Jimmy. It's heading straight for that cliff.
It's going to crash. I can't look.
Oh, Jimmy, the cliff's opening up like a huge door. Listen to it rumble. Well, Jimmy, did you see that?
No, I wasn't looking. I had my eyes covered. Where's the plane?
Well, you won't believe this because I can hardly believe it myself. The cliff opened up and the plane flew inside. See? It's closing now.
Mystery piled on mystery. What is the secret of Volcano Island, and who on it is working on the master plan that Dr. Deutsch mentioned? Both Kent and Jimmy are in for some dangerously exciting moments. How dangerous, neither of them realizes. Listen again for more thrills.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Stay tuned next for The Lone Ranger.
Hail Silver! Hooray! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. the early days of the western United States, bands of outlaws roamed the frontier and in some districts became so powerful that their own men were elected to the office of sheriff. It was not until the masked rider of the plains started his great fight for justice that the honest settlers found protection for their lives and property. Without his strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, the winning of the West might never have been accomplished. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for Clayborne County. There's going to be trouble. Hi-yo, Silver!
The scorching noonday sun beat down on the trail as the Lone Ranger and Tonto raced toward the little town of Glenville.
Clayborne County needs a new sheriff, Tonto. The young Jerry Blaine's the man for the job.
That's right.
You're sure that he rode over here alone this morning?
That's what Tonto planned in Redmond City.
He should never travel alone. With Colonel Stewart and Mrs. Monroe behind him, he has a good chance of being elected. Sheriff Harvey knows that. He may try to get rid of him.
You tell him that.
Just look at this trail. Those rocks at the side would make a perfect ambush. Jerry's young and confident, but I don't... Tonto!
Tonto, see.
Yep. We may be too late.
Jerry.
Dry ghost. Shot in the back.
Him dead?
No, it only caught him in the shoulder. Jerry.
Oh, mask man. Tonto.
Your canteen, Tonto.
Here.
I'll try to drink some of this.
Take me to the barn.
No, Jerry. We'll take you to our camp. You'll be safer there. But we'll notify Mrs. Monroe and the Colonel. And don't worry.
Good. Never worry. Lone Ranger's around.
Have you any idea who it was that drag-ghosted you?
Didn't see anybody.
It must have been Harvey who was responsible. But he hasn't won yet. You're going to recover, and you're going to be the next sheriff of Clayborne County.
Later that afternoon, Colonel Stewart reined up his black in front of the Bar M Ranch house. He dismounted carefully, squared his shoulders, and then marched up the steps and across the porch.
Howdy, Colonel. I saw you coming.
Good afternoon, Miss Monroe.
Step right in. Don't call me Mrs. Monroe. All the other folks in Clayborne County call me Agatha, so you'll just have to forget you're a gentleman.
A gentleman always bows to the wishes of a lady.
I guess I was asking the impossible. And before you sit down, let me have a look at you.
I'm fine, Agatha.
Let me see for myself. I'd say you was a mite peaked, Colonel. I bet you're still having trouble with the fever.
Perhaps a little now and then, but it won't be long before the rain stops.
You still doctoring with Blackwood?
Why, yes, aren't you?
Was until yesterday. But I sent him packing this morning, and he'll never set foot in this house again. He's a fake.
Well, in a way, of course. There's no reason why a man of medicine should pretend to be a witch doctor. But even if he is a charlatan, Agatha, there's no one else in the county.
That's where you're wrong.
Wrong?
There was an Indian dropped in here last night to buy some supplies. Just to look at me, he could see I was ailing, and he made me some herb tea. Well, sir, I drank a cup of it, and in an hour I was fit as a fiddle.
I've heard of Indian remedies for the fever.
He left me some of the herbs and told me where I could find some more, and that's why I sent the message over. You're coming out in the kitchen and have a cup of tea with me. Your troubles with the fever are all over.
Well, it sounds too good to be true.
Come on, that's just the way I felt about it, but it ain't. And when I spread the good news round the county, nobody's going to be troubled with fever no more. I sat down by the stove, and I'll have it ready in a minute.
Did you tell Dr. Blackwood about this Indian?
I sure did. You ought to see his face. He went white and red and then white again. Looked like a sun that couldn't make up its mind to set.
Well, did he say anything?
Turned on his heel and walked out. Of course, he didn't have much choice. I was ready to use my broom on him if he didn't.
You've made an enemy.
That's all right with me, Colonel. Drink it right down.
Thank you. It's bitter.
Oh, never mind that.
I'm sorry that you weren't more diplomatic, Agatha. Have you forgotten that we're trying to get young Jerry Blaine elected sheriff?
We don't need Doc Blackwood's help.
He's had a lot of influence, and so is John Harvey. If it wasn't for you and me, most of the folks around here wouldn't dare stand up to him.
Well, there's nothing the matter with me now, and there won't be with you when you get finished with that tea. We made up our minds to beat John Harvey next election, and we're going to do it.
It's a mistake to make enemies.
Oh, don't you worry about the doc's influence. He won't have none when I get through talking about him.
I wonder. He may have found a cure for fever, but there's other ailments. Folks got nobody else to turn to but the doc. And when a man takes advice from somebody on one thing, he's apt to do it on something else.
Well, all right, Colonel. If that's the way you feel about it, I won't say he's a quack to anybody but my oldest friends. And you see if you can smooth down his feathers.
Well, I'll do my best. Not that I approve of him, you understand.
I always figured he was working for John Harvey anyway, so why should we waste our time on him?
He's a powerful man. There. I thank you, ma'am.
Now, you just wait. 1 hour is all that stuff needs. Now, let's see. We got a week before election. Jerry's got to... And sakes!
Someone threw a rock through that window.
The paper wrapped around us. Give it to me, Colonel. You go see who's riding away.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a note for me.
Well, I can't make out. He's riding a sorrel. No chance of catching him now.
I wish some of the boys was around.
What's the note say?
He must have known they weren't. Otherwise, he'd never have tried anything like this in broad daylight.
What does it say?
They're giving me a week to sell my ranch and get out of the county.
Let me see it.
You can't tell nothing, Colonel. It's printed.
So it is. In pencil.
But I'll bet my bottom dollar that Harvey's behind this. We got him scared.
A man who would threaten a woman is nothing but a coward.
It's more than a threat. Don't fool yourself about that.
Impossible. Burn your roof over your head. I may be close to 70, Agatha, but if John Harvey were here now, I'd challenge him. I'd call him out and I'd make...
Not so fast, Colonel. Who's losing their temper now?
Oh, the scoundrel.
You leave the shooting to the young men and use your brains instead. What we need is proof. If we can prove that John Harvey was behind this note, we'll beat him for sure. Isn't that true? Come in.
We'd better make sure that the...
Howdy, Agatha. How are you, Colonel?
Sheriff Harvey.
None other. Pleased to see you looking so well, ma'am.
What brings you here, Sheriff?
Oh, just making a round of the ranches. I suppose I can depend on your vote.
You can.
Yeah?
I'll speak for the Colonel, Sheriff. You've been such a good lawman, you ought to know just how you stand with us.
Well, that's right handsome of you, Agatha. Is there anything I can do for you? Have you had any disturbances around here lately that I could take care of?
What kind of disturbances?
Well, I see that window's broken. Some of the boys been cutting up. I could say a word to them if you wanted me to.
No, thanks.
We don't need you, Sheriff.
Hey, what's that note you got in your hand, Colonel?
How do you know it's a note?
I can see the writing from here. Hand it over.
I don't like your tone, sir. This note belongs to Miss Monroe, and until she asks me to give it to her...
What the...
A brace man.
I'll take that note, Colonel.
Those guns mean nothing to me. This note belongs to Miss Monroe.
It's all right, Colonel. Give it to him.
Give it to him? Don't you realize this is important evidence?
I'm playing a hunch, and I got a good reason for it. Is that Indian sitting on the paint out there a friend of yours, masked man?
He is.
That's good enough for me. Give him the note, Colonel.
You're sure
Go
that
ahead.
Here you are, sir.
Thank you, Colonel. Now, I have some news for you, Sheriff.
For me?
Jerry Blaine isn't dead.
Dead?
He's been wounded, but he'll recover.
Oh, what's happened to the boy? What are you saying?
He was dry ghost just outside of Glenville.
This is your work, Sheriff.
Ah, you're loco. If Jerry's been shot, this outlaw did it. I'll get a posse...
Oh, come here.
Colonel, that's the Indian that gave me the tea.
What you want Tonto to do?
Get his guns.
Tonto, get him.
You'll pay for this. You won't find our camp, and you won't find Jerry. Don't try to follow us. All right, Tonto. You emptying the guns, Tonto?
You've done.
Just drop them on the ground. Yep. We only need a few minutes to make our getaway.
Me throwing a mesquite.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
Yes, man, I don't understand.
Don't try to talk, Jerry. We'll tell you everything that happened.
This note?
Just listen. We reined up as soon as we got out of the woods. We saw a man on a sorrel at the back of the ranch house. He threw something through the window and rode away. We were going after him. They signaled to someone who was waiting on a ridge to the south, so we stayed where we were. A few minutes later, the sheriff rode up to the ranch house and went inside. When we got there, he was trying to make the colonel hand over that note. I heard him before I opened the kitchen door.
Now you're going to try and prove that the sheriff wrote this.
We're going to find out who wrote it.
He gives Agatha a week. Do you think he'll really...
Not if we can help it.
Oh, why didn't I keep my eyes open?
What chance have I got to win the election laid up like this?
It won't be won or lost until the night before, when they hold the big meeting in Redmond City.
I won't even be there.
You leave that to Tonto.
You'll get well in short time.
What about the Colonel and Agatha? They'll be letting themselves in for a lot of trouble fighting my battles.
I promise you that we'll look out for them.
Oh, you don't know how much trouble, though. There's Harvey and all his men. They won't stop at nothing to win this election. They got a lot of folks on their side. Doc Blackwood, and then there's...
What's that?
Sure. He's talking for Harvey all over the county. And outside of Agatha and the Colonel, there's nobody that, well, folks pay more attention to than him.
The doctor. You may be right, Tonto. It wasn't until after Mrs. Monroe stopped taking his medicine that she was threatened. Where did Blackwood come from, Jerry?
Brownsville.
How long has he been here?
About a year.
Is he really a doctor?
He says he is. He gives folks medicine. He makes them well, sometimes. Of course, a doctor can't always be right.
We've got to find out more about him, Tonto. Here, Silver.
Here, Scout.
The canteen's right beside you, Jerry. You're safe here, and we won't be gone long.
Sure, I'm all right. Go ahead.
Hip. Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
To what am I indebted for this visit, Doctor? You called this morning.
And you called at the bar inn this afternoon, didn't you?
You're well informed.
Did Agatha tell you the wonderful new cure she's found for the fever?
She did, and she gave me a cup of the tea. The effect is remarkable, Doctor. I'd suggest that you prescribe it for your other patients.
Perhaps I shall. But not for you, Colonel.
I feel much better after drinking it.
That's understandable. All these Indian remedies have a tonic quality. But it isn't the fever that you're suffering from.
You always said it was.
Well, in your condition, it was wise to spare you as much worry as possible.
What do you mean by that, sir?
I hesitate to mention it even now. But I realize that if I don't, you may follow Agatha's example and refuse to follow my course of treatment. It's your heart, Colonel. You can't live without the drugs I've been giving you.
It's hard to believe. I've never felt anything wrong with my heart.
Well, you won't until the end. But if you want to live...
Well...
Yes, I can see from your eyes that you need some medicine this minute. I shall leave this bottle with you. There's water in that pitcher, isn't there?
Yes, but I don't...
I'll show you how to take it. But only 3 or 4 drops in a glass of water. So. The dose to be repeated immediately following every meal. There you are, Colonel. Drink it down.
I still...
Drink it.
Well, if you're sure...
What the? A masked man. I saw him at the window.
He shot the glass out of my hand.
I'll get him. He's just swinging into the saddle.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Dr. Blackwood emptied his gun at the Lone Ranger as he rode away into the night. Then he left the colonel's house to warn the sheriff. A few minutes later, the colonel heard 2 horses stop outside and...
It's the masked man and the Indian again. Agatha trusts him, but I'm not sure I do. I don't like being shot at anyway. You're covered, masked man.
You don't need that gun, Colonel. You mind if I come inside?
Come right ahead. You can stay here until they take you to jail.
I'm not an outlaw.
Is there any way you can prove it?
Not unless this silver bullet means something to you.
Silver? Let's see it.
Here.
From your cartridge belt. They're all silver.
Yes, Colonel.
Silver bullets. A horse named Silver. And Agatha called the Indian Tonto. You're the Lone Ranger.
Colonel, Tonto and I are doing everything we can to help young Jerry Blaine.
Well, so am I. What was the idea of taking a shot at me?
I wasn't shooting at you. I shot the glass from your hand.
You aimed at the glass?
Yes, Colonel.
What for?
I heard nearly everything the doctor said to you through that open window, but I don't believe you have heart trouble.
Neither do I.
And I don't want you to take any of the doctor's medicine until we're sure what's in it.
Well, here's the bottle he left. Can you tell from
No,
that
Colonel. I'm running to Brownsville tonight, and I'm coming back with a doctor who's honest.
Do you mean to say that Doc Blackwood isn't?
We'll find out. It's going to take me several days.
To get to Brownsville and back? It'll take you longer than that.
We'll be back in less than a week. But while I'm gone, I'd like you to stay at the Bar M.
You figured that Agatha needs my protection?
You read the note. I want you to stay there, and I want you to pretend to take the doctor's medicine.
But you just said that
Pretend, Colonel, that's all. And if the doctor wants you to believe that you have heart trouble, pretend that you do believe it. You might even imagine a few symptoms.
I don't understand.
The best way to put him off his guard is to let him think he's succeeding in whatever he's trying to do.
Well, what if he isn't trying to do anything but cure me? Oh, I'm afraid you're suspicious of the wrong man. It's Sheriff Harvey that's a crook.
We'll deal with him when the time comes. Will you promise to do as I ask?
Well, I guess so.
That's Tonto's whistle.
Danger?
The sheriff and his men. Do I have your promise, Colonel?
You have.
Adios.
Hurry, Kimosabe. Then come over ridge now.
You'll go back to the camp, Tonto, and take care of Jerry. I'll be back from Brownsville in less than a week.
You hurry.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up, Scout.
The great horse Silver raced across the plains, south toward the Rio Grande, then south and east toward Brownsville. Clayborne County was quiet for the next 5 days, and then, just at dusk on the 6th...
Colonel.
Yes, Agatha.
Who is here?
Here? Why, no one.
You're wrong. Look at this.
A note.
Another one. It was stuck on the door with this knife. You sure you didn't hear anybody?
I was asleep for an hour or two. What does it say?
It's a last warning. They're coming tonight.
Tonight? We'd better warn the boys. I'll send word for my crew to come over here.
You leave that to me. I'll ride over to the bunkhouse before I start getting dinner.
Let me, Agatha.
No, I got best your saddle. Something told me not to turn her into the corral.
You won't let me do anything, Agatha. I swear you must believe what the doctor said about my heart.
No point in taking chances.
But the masked man...
And there's no time for arguments.
Now what? Who's riding up now?
Couldn't be them crooks so early. They'd wait till it was dark at least. The masked man.
He's back.
That him Tonto with him.
It's Dr. Evans from Brownsville, Mrs. Monroe.
Howdy.
Pleased to meet you, Doc. And we're sure glad to see you, mister. There's going to be plenty of action before the night's over. Election's day after tomorrow, and they're going to try and get rid of me before the meeting tomorrow night.
You've been threatened again?
Shut the door, Colonel. Now read that, masked man.
Doctor, will you take the colonel into the other room and examine him?
That's what I came for.
And take a look at the medicine Dr. Blackwood prescribed. You still have the bottle, Colonel?
It isn't in the same bottle. I've been pouring a little from one to another every day, so Blackwood would think I was following orders.
Good.
This way, Doctor.
That note makes it look as if you're going to have to fight it out, masked man. With my boys and the colonel's crew, we'll have about 20 men. I could get more if there was time to ride around the other ranches.
There won't be any fight, Mrs. Monroe.
There's got to be. They mean business.
A lot depends on what Dr. Evans finds. But if he reports the way I think he will, we'll do our fighting tomorrow night and we won't need bullets.
I don't savvy.
And just listen for a moment. Here's my plan.
Well, Tonto?
Wagon all ready to go. We wait for night riders.
Now, Colonel, I hope you got everything straight. Don't you go talking up loud and fierce, even if they do get you riled.
Well, I'll try to do my part. But what if the plan doesn't work? What if they aren't satisfied with getting rid of us?
The masked man says that's all they care about.
It'll be touch and go, Agatha. And they're an ornery crew. They might decide to burn the place anyway.
How about that, Tonto?
There's trouble. Me blow whistle. Lone Ranger bring men from bunkhouse.
Let's hope that they...
Oh.
Here they come.
Tonto, carry you.
No, Injun, I can walk.
Say, Tonto, carry you.
He's right. We got to make this look good.
Well.
I'll open the door. And remember, Colonel, don't say nothing at all.
You see Ryder?
Yeah, they're coming. Can't see 'em plain, but I'll bet that's the sheriff riding in front. I'll just pretend to be fixing these blankets and back so he'll be comfortable.
Don't make Tonto stand here holding me, Agatha.
Quiet.
You're not heavy.
Bandanas over their faces, crooks, every one of them. Lift me to the wagon, Tonto.
We lift him.
Moving out.
Any business of yours?
What's the matter with him?
Can't you use your eyes? Have you got that bandana so far up your face you can't see?
You got our last warning. Now you better...
Go ahead, you ornery sidewinder. You can do whatever you want to me at the ranch, but I got a gun here. And if you touch the colonel, I'll pump you full of lead.
Where are you taking him?
Where's the nearest hospital?
Brownsville.
Then use your brains and don't ask too many fool questions. Help me up the driver's seat, Tonto. You better ride with us for a while.
Time to do it. Here, rein.
Thanks. Clear the road, you polecats. If you want to prove you're skunks by shooting a woman, go to it.
We'll let you go. But when you get to Brownsville, stay there.
Get up there.
All right, let her through.
Get him up, Scout.
Redmond City was crowded the following night. A platform had been erected in front of the Palace Hotel, and Sheriff Harvey and Dr. Blackwood stood under the glare of the torches, watching the men and women who thronged the main street.
This sure worked out fine, Doc.
I think so.
The easiest way to win an election is to run by yourself.
It was the only way you could win.
Oh, I don't know.
I do.
I can't help wondering, though. What happened to Jerry Blaine? What'd that masked man do with him?
Well, we haven't seen either one of them for over a week.
Agatha and the colonel gone, too. I gotta hand it to you, Doc. It's all over with the shout.
Well, let's get that over with, too.
Yeah.
Gather around, folks. Gather around. There's not going to be much in the way of speeches tonight, folks, because there's only one man running for sheriff. That's your old friend, John Harvey. I just want to say a few words about him. Let him say hello, and then we'll call on the band to give us some music. How about that, eh? I thought you'd be in favor. Now, John's been your sheriff for the last 4 years.
Stand aside there, boys. I'm riding up to the platform.
Doc, that's Jerry.
Yeah, 2 others with him.
One of them's a masked man. What'll we do?
Let him get close enough so you can't miss, then shoot.
All these people around?
He's wearing a mask. That makes him an outlaw.
Right.
Doc, you're wrong about there only being one candidate for sheriff. I'm still in the run.
No! Get that man. He fired on the sheriff.
My hand.
You aren't hurt. Men, are you going to stand for this? Going to let an outlaw ride up the main street of Redmond City and act like he owned the town?
Hold it, boys, hold it. Before you go for your guns, let me tell you something. This here's the Lone Ranger. He didn't hurt the sheriff. He just shot the gun out of his hand. And that's because Harvey was drawing on him.
It's easy enough for him to call himself the Lone Ranger. I say he's an outlaw.
You can speak your piece when the time comes. Right now, the boys are going to listen to the masked man. Give it to him, mister.
Men, you all know that Dr. Blackwood has been campaigning for Sheriff Harvey. You all know that Colonel Stewart was working for Jerry Blaine. I'm accusing Blackwood of trying to murder the colonel.
That's a lie.
We got proof, Doc.
Evans, step up here.
Evans?
Dr. Evans Blackwood, an honest doctor.
You don't have to introduce us. We've met before. Folks, this man called himself Carter in Brownsville, and we run him out of town.
You're making a mistake, my name.
I don't care what you call yourself now, but you can't deny that this here's the medicine you gave Colonel Stewart. This medicine was supposed to cure a heart ailment, men, but if the colonel had taken it, he'd have died. It's slow poison.
You're trying to frame me. It may be poison in that bottle, but I never gave it to the colonel. He took the medicine I gave him.
That's where you're wrong.
Prove it. Bring him back from the hospital.
You won't have to travel that far. Come on, Colonel. Up here with the rest of us.
I'll be right there, masked man.
He's here.
Make way for him.
And Mrs. Monroe.
Yes, Sheriff. They pretended to leave the county to save the Barham Ranch.
From Night Riders, boys. Night Riders that wanted Harvey reelected.
How about it, Colonel? Is this the medicine Blackwood gave you?
You have my word for it, sir.
No, I didn't.
Do your duty, Sheriff. The charge is attempted murder. Arrest that man.
It's only the colonel's word against the doc.
And the word of the Lone Ranger. That's good enough for us, and it better be good enough for you. Arrest that man or you'll end in jail yourself.
All right.
You lay a hand on me and I'll tell him all I know about you.
Now, I got my duty. There's proof against you.
And I got proof against you. Proof against you and Slim and Bat and all the rest of them that serve as a posse during the day and wear bandanas across their face at night. Road agents, rustlers, killers.
He's giving it to you straight, boys. That's what we've had for law officers in Clayborne County. John Harvey was leading a gang of night riders that come to my place. I couldn't see his face, but I recognized his voice. Are you still going to elect him, Sheriff?
No!
Does job. You hear that, Jerry? You're elected.
He can't be elected until tomorrow.
Oh, you mean we can't vote him in until then? But if there's work to do tonight, there's nothing wrong with his taking the lead.
Is there, masked man?
No, Jerry. These men must go to jail, and the sooner the better.
On your way, Harvey. You too, Blackwood, or whatever your name is.
That's it, boys. Hustle them along.
One, Agatha.
All the way, Colonel. And one without an honest man getting hurt.
We have the Lone Ranger to thank for that.
And I aim to thank him. Where is he? Where'd they go? I can't see him heading for jail with the others.
The other way, Agatha. There they are, Tonto and the masked man.
Riding away.
Just as soon as their work was done.
Well done, Colonel. Well done.
Hi-yo, Silver! Hi!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger, Incorporated.
Stay tuned next for the Lux Radio Theater.
U.S. Highway 99, a concrete ribbon of commerce winding its way over the hills from San Francisco to Los Angeles. In the dark hours of the morning, a steady stream of trucks roars along this road. Huge six-wheel monsters, their headlights burning into the blackness, their mighty tires pounding the concrete, hour after hour, mile after mile. At intervals in the night, bright neon lights mark the resting places, cafes for the weary drivers and service stations for the trucks. In one of these stations, a truck has just been tanked up. The driver stands quietly by, watching the attendant check the tires.
Hey, Paul, what are you doing here?
I got blisters waiting. I grabbed a hitch into Lansdale and promoted a second-hand wheel. Well, how'd you make out with Williams?
I'm still waiting for the dough.
What'll it be, mister?
Coffee. Why do we stay in this racket, Joe? We'll never make enough out of it to buy ourselves decent coffin.
Oh, stop crabbing. I got enough worry. Sweep that coffee down. We got to get rolling.
Anything else?
No, I don't want... Oh, hello.
Hello. Anything else?
Say, you're pretty.
Yeah? How about a nice piece of pie?
Don't get me wrong, sister. All you make me think of is how much I'd like to be with my wife.
Well, I never heard that one before.
Yeah, my brother's married, but not me. I ain't even engaged.
That ain't hard to understand.
How's about that coffee?
Coming up.
Cute, huh? Come on, let's beat it.
Hiya, Joe.
Oh, hello, Dawson. Wish we had time to chew the fat with you, but we got to roll. We just had a little trouble.
Yeah, Williams told me.
Williams?
Yeah, he sent me up here to pick up your load.
What? Why, that dirty muzzler. After carrying the load all this way, we won't get a dime out of it. What if we don't give it to you?
Shut up, Paul. You're a nice guy, Dawson. Why do you pull stuff like this?
It ain't my fault, Joe. I got a wife and a kid. I got to do what Williams says or don't get any hauls.
Now, don't be sore at me, fellas. I'd like to bust that chiseler in the nose.
Button up, Paul. That don't get you nothing. Come on, our rig's about 2 miles down.
Where do we go from there, Joe?
I think maybe we better run back to Frisco. Yeah, I think maybe I'll slap Williams in the teeth.
Now, wait a minute, Fabrini.
Wait a minute, nothing. You owe us $300, Chisel, and you're going to pay it now.
But, Joe...
And if you don't, I'll take it right out of your hide.
All right. Now, don't get hot. I'll pay you.
Oh, that's better.
But you fellas are going to regret this. Here's your money. But I don't mind telling you you've had your last load out of this office.
Then in that case, we ain't got anything to lose, have we? Watch the birdie, Williams.
Oh.
There's a bad curve sitting up ahead. There'll be a layer of mud on it. Be careful.
Oh, go to sleep, will you? I'm driving now.
Oh, I was just reminding you. If we go over a cliff, wake me up. Hey, pour on the brakes.
What's the matter?
Somebody wants a lift.
Listen, Joe, if we pick up everyone we see on the road, we won't get home till next week.
Oh, it's a dame. Hurry up, sister. Well, it won't hurt us to give her a lift.
So she bumps her head on the door and sues us. It's too bad one of them hotshot passenger cars can't find time to stop.
Come on, sister.
Oh, thanks. Gee, I was beginning to wonder if I'd ever get a ride.
Well, you got one now, so relax. Hey, ain't you the dame who was slinging hash at Barney's?
That's me.
Well, what happened?
I quit.
Yeah? Why?
I think Barney's taking wrestling lessons. I thought I ought to beat it before it gets to the half Nelson.
I get it. How far you going?
How far are you going?
L.A.?
Well, that's good enough for me. I'd just as soon be out of a job one place as another.
Well, that's the way to feel. Well, what's your name?
Cassie Hartley.
Know anyone in L.A.?
Nope.
What are you going to do?
Oh, find a room, look for work.
Oh, jobs ain't growing on bushes anymore. How much money you got?
Oh, enough to get by. When do we make L.A.?
Early tomorrow morning.
You been on the road long?
10 days.
10 days. Gee, I guess you gotta have your brains knocked out to be a truck driver.
You don't have to, but it helps.
Hey, what are you flashing your headlights for?
Truck up ahead of us.
That means we want to pass. If it's clear ahead, he'll wink his lights back.
Well, I don't see him winking.
Well, that's funny. It looks clear to me. Try him again, Paul.
Yeah.
Say, ain't that Harry McNamara's rig?
Yeah, looks like it.
When I met him in Barney's, he was bleary-eyed.
He's all over the road now. Look at him.
Pull up alongside of him, Paul. That guy's asleep at the wheel.
Well, blow your horn.
Oh, not unless we have to. He might come to and take his rig right off the road. Watch out he don't dive into us, Paul.
He's going off the road. Harry! Look out!
Harry! Pull up, Paul.
They turned over.
Get the fire extinguisher quick. They're cooking in there.
We could have cut him off. If I'd have been fast, it wouldn't have happened.
Oh, now take it easy, Paul. Take it easy.
Why should I take it easy? That's where we're going to end up someday if we keep on. Well, I ain't keeping on. I don't have to kill myself. They got jobs in this country where a man don't have to die. I got a nice white bed, too, and I'm going to get in it before it's too late.
Go on back to the truck, Paul. I'll take care of everything here. There's Pearl, fella. She must have been waiting up.
Yeah.
Hello, Paul. You're late, darling.
I'm here anyway. That's something, ain't it?
Paul, what's the matter?
Hiya, Pearl.
Oh, hello, Joe. Come on, get out of there. I'll put on some coffee and... Oh.
Well, Pearl, this is Cassie Hartley. This is Pearl, my sister-in-law.
Hello. Pleased to know you. Come on, Joe. It's cold out here.
Oh, can't stop this trip, Pearl. I'll just about make the market now. Catch you on the way back.
What's the matter with Paul?
Oh, he's just a little nervous. He'll be okay after a night's sleep. Tell him I'll pick him up sometime tomorrow. I'll phone him when I'm leaving L.A.
All right. Be careful. I can't figure you guys out. If you took care of your truck like you take care of yourselves, it'd fall apart in 2 weeks.
Yeah? But we're tougher than any truck that ever came off an assembly line.
Yeah, I'll bet your friend Harry thought the same thing.
Forget about Harry, will you? He was probably so tired he thought the whole thing was a dream. How much money you got? Come on, how much?
$1.12.
That's what I thought. Not even enough to rent a room.
Oh, I'll get along.
How? A guy can walk around nights without a place to sleep, but a dame hasn't got a chance. Well, as soon as I dump this load, I'll get you a room.
Listen, you don't have to do that. I'm grateful just for the ride. You've been awful nice.
Well, if I let you go, I'd keep worrying and wondering what happened to you. And I got enough worries the way it is.
Well, I'd be pretty dumb if I didn't say yes. Or am I being dumb anyway?
You can figure that out later.
only room I got. But I ain't used to taking new roomers at 4 in the morning.
Well, it's never too late to start. Some of the best people check in at 4 in the morning.
I wouldn't know about that. I never see any of them.
Well, anyway, you got a bed for a week.
Yeah, that'll give me enough time to find something to do. I'll pay you back.
You know, I'm really worried about that. I got it all doped out how to go to the cops if you don't. So long, Red.
Oh, wait. You've been swell to me.
Oh, cut it.
Well, I guess it's all right if you want to kiss me goodbye.
Sure, why not? Say.
Goodbye. Don't fall asleep on the road.
I won't, not after a pep-up like that. And don't practice that on anyone else. Save it for me.
I will. But hurry back.
You bet I will.
Hey, you get that truck out of here. This space is only for Carlson's trucks.
That's who I came to see, Carlson. And I'm parking here till I see him.
Now listen, buddy. Get that broken-down tub out of here or I'll park one on your chin.
Oh, I ain't so sure of that.
Well, maybe this'll show you. Hey.
Go see what this is all about. Hey, what's going on down there? Hey!
Ed, come away from the window.
Look, Marie, it's a fight. One of them is Joe Fabrini.
Fabrini?
Yeah. You remember Joe, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Joe shouldn't be fighting on the street like that. Boy, did he slap him that time. Smack him again, Joe. Shoot for his button. Come on.
Ed, stop yelling out the window. You're not a truck driver anymore.
Oh, baby, can I help it if I get excited?
When we got married, you promised to act like a gentleman. It's disgusting to see the head of a big company making more noise than any of his drivers.
Ah, okay. Hey, cut it out. Cut it out down there. Do you hear me? Cut it out. Hey, Joe. Joe Fabrini.
Yeah.
Come on up here, champ, and see what you can do with a good man.
Okay.
Is he coming up?
Yeah, great guy. Now, where were we, Marie?
You were making out a check for me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what do you do with all the money, Marie? That's $200 this week.
Would you like me to give you an itemized account, penny by penny?
Oh, no. Wait a minute, baby. You use as much as you want. To look like $1 million, you got to spend $1 million, huh? What is it?
Joe Fabrini to see you.
Well, shoot him in.
Hi, Ed.
Come on in, Joe. Who do you think you are, Jack Dempsey? What was the beef down there?
Nothing much. Some guy talked when he should have been listening. Oh, hello, Mrs. Carlson.
Hello, Joe.
Where you been hiding, Joe? Why don't you ever come up to see a guy?
Oh, I've been pretty busy.
Have a drink. Hey, the mice must have been in this bottle.
That was no mice. That was a rat.
Huh? Very funny, baby. Very funny. She gets off good ones like that all the time, Joe. Come on, let's have one on the house, huh?
Sorry, Ed. You know I never touch it.
Well, okay. I'll have one for both of us, huh?
Your liver must look like a bomb hit it.
Well, I always say, live and let liver. You get it? You think a fast one's like that after you've been married to a smart girl like Marie for 7 years?
If I thought I was responsible for anything like that, I'd hang myself.
You see what I mean, Joe? Right on the trigger every minute. Sit down, Joe. I want to talk to you.
Thanks.
Joe, why don't you stop trying to beat the Wildcat game and go to work for me, huh?
You beat it, didn't you?
Yeah, but I had an old uncle who was nice enough to kick off and leave me 20 grand. Look, Joe, I'm just getting in 5 new diesels. I'd like to have you and Paul on one of them.
Thanks, Ed, but I still like to be my own boss. Buying my own products, I won't have to take anything from anyone.
I think you should listen to Ed. He's talking sense for once.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Carlson. I probably sound like I don't appreciate Ed's offer. I do. But I still want to try it my way. Just a few drakes, and maybe I'll be hiring Ed.
Oh, sure. And I'd haul for you, too. Say, do you know where you can buy any loads?
Oh, I ain't looked yet into it. I thought you might know.
Well, sure. I know just the guy. And as long as I'm going to be working for you someday, I better start getting on the good side of you, huh, Joe? Yeah, and you'd better be nice to him, too, Marie.
I'm always nice to your friends.
Oh, yeah? Be back in a minute.
Well?
Well, what?
Where were you last Thursday?
On the road, I guess.
You're lying. You were here in town. One of the boys saw you.
So I was in town.
I waited in front of that restaurant so long they thought I was a picket. Don't you ever keep a date?
I didn't make a date. You did. I told you I wouldn't be there, and I'll tell you now. I'll never be there.
Why? What's the matter with me?
Nothing, except you got a husband, Mrs. Carlson, and he happens to be a friend of mine. Understand?
Oh, now, Joe.
Cut it out, Marie.
Is there any harm in a kiss?
Sometimes, yeah. Now lay off. You know, one of these days, Ed's going to catch you, and when he does, he'll slap your ears off.
You'd never believe it. He could see it, and I could still convince him it wasn't so.
A lot of dames think that, and they all end up behind the 8-ball.
You know, I wonder what I see in you. You're crude, you're uneducated, you never had a pair of pants with a crease in them. And yet, I can't get you off my mind, Joe.
Well, you're not on my mind, so forget it.
Hang on, Joe. I wrote it down. The United Warehouse in Pomona asked for Oscar Drake. He's got a floor load of cull lemons he wants to get rid of.
Well, that ain't bad. Okay, Ed, I'm in business.
You better beat it. He's in a hurry. Hey, wait a minute. You got any dough?
Oh, enough for a load. Thanks, Ed. I won't forget this.
Oh, that's all right.
Goodbye, Mrs. Carlson.
Goodbye. It was nice to see you again, Joe. Keep your eye on that white line.
You betcha, and I'll watch all the curves, too.
So long, Joe. You know, if anyone can beat that Wildcat racket, he can. He's a great guy. Yeah. You know, it's funny how all the dames used to go for him. Hey, Marie. I was talking about Joe. I said it's funny how all the dames used to go for him.
Did they? I can't understand it.
You're watching They Drive by Night, starring George Raft, Lana Turner, and Lucille Ball on Radio Movie Classics. We'll have more after these messages.
The 60 Greatest Old-Time Radio Shows starring Frank Sinatra and Friends. Radio Spirits presents a collection of 60 rare radio episodes guest starring Frank Sinatra. Hear Sinatra on Suspense, Jack Benny, Rocky Fortune, and the Lux Radio Theater, to name only a few. You'll also receive a 64-page booklet with photographs and show histories. Order now and save $20 off the $59.98 catalog price. Pay just $39.98 during this limited-time offer. Call now, 1-800-RADIO-48. That's 1-800-723-4648. Or order online at MediaBay.com.
We now return to They Drive by Night, starring George Raft, Lana Turner, and Lucille Ball on Radio Movie Classics.
Night after night, Joe Fabrini and Paul pound the highway north and south. They're both haggard and worn, but business has been good, and they're glad to be working. In an all-night cafe along the road, Joe has just put in a long-distance call to Los Angeles.
Hello? Hello, Cassie?
Joe? Joe, is that you?
How are you?
Oh, Joe, did something happen to you? You weren't in an accident.
Nah, nothing's happened. What took you so long to get to the phone?
Oh, I was scared when they told me it was long distance. I knew it was you or about you.
How did you know?
Oh, I just knew. Is everything all right?
Oh, everything's great. We got more dough than we ever seen before. Say, this is a funny time to call up a girl, ain't it?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm glad you called. I was worried about you.
Were you?
Yeah. Did you think about me?
Oh, sure, every minute.
Gee, this is beginning to look like love at first sight. Do you believe in that?
Well, it saves a lot of time.
When you coming back, Joe?
You anxious?
Oh, what do you think?
I think I want to get back there and see you as fast as we can buy another load.
Oh, but be careful. Don't drive too fast. I want to see you quick, but I want to see you all in one piece.
You will. I nearly always go around that way.
Your 3 minutes are up. Deposit 50 cents, please. Oh, don't spend any more, Joe. We can talk all we want free when you get in town.
Okay, honey. Good night.
Good night, Joe.
That was great talk, Joe. Pearl and me used to have them silly conversations before we got married.
Who said anything about getting married?
Nobody. But you can't horse me. I know that race when I see it. It just depends on how smart the dame is.
Your brakes are dragging. Come on, let's hit the road. Paul, wake up.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing, but you got to take the wheel for a while. I'm knocked out.
Well, let me alone, will you? I just got to sleep.
You got to sleep 3 hours ago.
Don't seem like 3 seconds. Hey, why don't we pull up here and both nail a couple hours shut-eye?
What a guy. We get a little ahead of this racket for the first time in our lives, and you want to stop and sleep.
Yeah, I want to sleep. Everyone sleeps once in a while, remember? You think I wanted to do something peculiar.
It'd be peculiar to stop now, all right. What do you want to do, get into L.A. after the market is flooded with pairs? If we want to get a price, we got to get them there early.
All right. Slide over.
Thanks, kid. And keep your eye on that white line. If it begins to wobble, wake me up.
Yeah.
You know what I always do when I feel the Sandman coming?
No.
I begin to count to myself. Out loud. I got to 10,000 last night. Not even one mistake. Try it sometime.
Yeah. $901, $902, $903, $904, $905, 6, $907, 8, $909.
Joe, is he going to be all right? Tell me, Joe.
Oh, now take it easy. He's going to be okay, Pearl. We got him to the hospital here inside of an hour.
Oh.
He's busted up a little, but the doc says he'll be okay.
What about you, Joe?
Oh, just a couple of scratches. I guess my name wasn't up.
Which is his room?
Right over there. Well, it was my fault, Pearl. He wanted to stop and sleep, and I made him drive.
Don't blame yourself, Joe. It was bound to happen sooner or later. I'm grateful he's alive. Truck's gone, I suppose.
Complete wreck. Load smashed. Not a cent of insurance.
Oh.
We were just starting to do pretty good, too.
It's always that way, isn't it, Joe? Oh, you and Paul get another truck and you'll be on the road again.
No, not for a while. I'm going to go to work for Ed Carlson.
Carlson?
Yeah, he always wanted to give me a job, and, well, I'm taking it. You see...
Joe, I want to see Paul.
I'll wait, Pearl. He's going to be out of work for some time.
Huh?
But I don't want you to worry, see? While he's getting well, I'll take care of everything.
What are you trying to do, Joe? Soften the blow? How bad is he?
Oh, he looks all right. A couple of cuts here and there, all except his right arm, they thought. Well, they had to do it. They had to take it off.
I'm going to surprise you, Joe. I'm going to surprise you a lot. I'm almost glad it happened.
You what?
You heard me. I'm almost glad. Now he can't drive a truck. Now he'll be home nights. And I won't always be alone worrying. Maybe it's worth a right arm, Joe. Maybe it's worth it.
Hey, Charlie, how's that transmission coming?
Okay, Joe. She'll roll tonight.
Well, keep it coming. Hey, Irish.
Yeah, Joe.
Have to get number 8 ready to pick up that beer at Load at Red Star. Switch 14 to the furniture hall.
Right.
And if anybody wants me, I'll be in the office.
Hello, Joe.
Oh, how are you, Mrs. Carlson?
How do you like your new job?
It's okay. Anything I can do for you?
I just came in to see Ed.
Oh, ain't he in his office?
I haven't looked yet.
Oh.
Did Ed tell you about our anniversary party tomorrow night?
Yeah, but I can't make it.
Oh, Ed's counting on having you.
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Carlson.
Hey, hiya, Marie. Give us a kiss.
Oh, please, Ed. Every time
All right. Now, don't get sore.
Ed, Joe says he can't make our party tomorrow night.
What? Why, sure he can. It's at our new house, Joe. I want you to see it.
Oh, I had something planned with Paul for tomorrow night.
Now, look. I'm the boss. This is a royal command. Show up tomorrow night at my new dump. Paul don't pay your salary. I do.
Okay. I'll show up, but I gotta leave early.
I knew Ed could bring you around. I guess he has more sex appeal than I have.
Ain't she terrific? If you open your mouth, she puts her foot in it.
I got to get back to the garage. So long, Mrs. Carlson. See you tomorrow, Ed.
So long, Joe. Yeah, Joe sure has turned out great. Your idea of taking them off the trucks and putting them inside was strictly okay. He's a good man.
Yes, I'm sure he will be.
Yeah, Joe's plenty fast on new ideas. I'm going to let him try out a few of them. Then I'll have a lot more time to spend with you.
You aren't talking much, Joe.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Red. How are things going down at the store?
Oh, all right. My feet hold out. Well, thanks for walking me home. Good night.
Cassie.
What?
Wait a minute. Cassie, what do you say we get married?
Oh, Joe.
What do you say?
Well, I'd like that fine, but we can't.
Why not?
Well, you've got enough responsibilities without taking me on. After Paul finds something, all right.
Paul ain't going to find anything. Why kid ourselves?
Well, it don't hurt to hope. You've always been an optimistic guy. What's the matter with you?
I guess maybe I'm just finding out the score.
Oh, Joe, that don't sound like you. Will you do something? Will you take me dancing tomorrow night when we both feel better?
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I can't. I got to go to the boss's house to a party.
Oh.
Don't say like you think I'm ducking out on you. I didn't want to go. Ed and his wife muscled me into it.
Well, you don't have to explain to me where you're going or why.
And don't pull that aching heart routine on me.
Oh, Joe, let's say goodnight. If we stay out here, we'll only be fighting.
Oh, I'm sorry, kid. I'm kind of... Oh, I don't know.
I know, though. You're upset about Paul. But don't worry, Joe. It'll work out. It'll be fine. I know it will. Kiss me, Joe.
Cassie, you're the only girl in the world I've ever been crazy about.
Joe, you're the only fellow in the world who can make me believe a lie like that.
Yes, sir, that's what I always tell my drivers. No telephone pole ever hits a truck except in self-defense. Have some champagne, folks. Huh? Come on.
Ed, we have servants to open the wine.
Oh, what's the point of drinking champagne if you can't pop the cork yourself, huh? Hey, there's Joe.
Oh, I'll take care of Joe.
Huh?
You stay here with your friends. Oh, hello, Joe. You're late.
Yeah, I got stuck at the office.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you we were dressing.
Oh, it wouldn't have done any good. I don't own a tux.
Hey, hi, Joe. Have a little champagne, huh?
Thanks, Ed. You know I don't drink.
Well, neither do I, unless I got a glass in my hand.
You don't have any bad habits, do you, Joe?
None I can't handle, Mrs. Carlson.
That's what I said. I told him, didn't I?
Good night, Ed. I had a nice time.
Why? Oh, wait a minute. You're not leaving already, Joe.
Yeah, I'm due at the office at 6:30. Good night.
Wow, good
Good night, Mrs. Carlson.
Oh, I'll walk out to your car with you.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Oh, it's all right. I could stand a breath of air.
Oh, it's cold. You better run back in.
It feels good.
Well, I had a nice time, Mrs. Carlson.
Joe, do you have to call me Mrs. Carlson? I have a first name, you know.
Well, when I call you Mrs. Carlson, that keeps me in my place.
You wouldn't be trying to get over that it also keeps me in my place now, would you?
That ain't what I said.
Well, I'm good at reading between the lines. What's the matter with you, anyway?
I feel okay.
Well, then, what's the matter with me? I know a dozen men who'd come running if I even winked at them.
Then wink at one of them and leave me alone. I've told you 50 times I'm doing good at the office, and I'm not going to stick my neck out fooling around with the boss's wife. Particularly when I happen to like the boss.
How touching. The faithful employee, the devoted friend.
That's me. Good night.
Oh, Joe, you don't have to get sore.
Hey, Marie, we're all going over to the Tango Club. Get into your gunny sack, honey. We're stepping out.
Yeah, the Tango Club. He'd be lucky if he can walk in the door, let alone tango.
Don't you worry about Ed. He's okay.
Sure. Ed's fine. When you don't have to look at him every day and listen to his gags. You know, Joe, it's too bad I had to meet Ed first.
Yeah?
I mean, before I met you.
Yeah?
If I wasn't married to him, maybe you'd liven up a bit, huh?
I doubt it.
I don't.
Anyway, you're Mrs. Carlson.
Yeah. Ain't I the lucky one?
Good night, Mrs. Carlson.
Mrs. Carlson. Mrs. Misses. Ed. Ed, do you hear me? We're home.
Huh?
You fell all over the Tango Club, and now you're falling all over me. Get out and walk. I can't carry you into the house.
You just go ahead, honey. I'll catch a little snooze here in the garage.
Ed, wake up. You can't sleep in the garage. Get up, will you?
Huh? Run along, baby. I'll be right in. Just turn off motor. Mustn't let motor run. Just turn off motor.
Ed, wake up. Oh, how cold. Or to leave you here for good. Or let the motor run and wash you out, you.
Why not?
No.
Sure, why not? Carbon monoxide poison. Suicide. Don't worry about him.
No.
Not you. What good is he to you? What good is he to anybody? Go on, just walk out with me. Close the door after you. Go on. Why not?
Why not? Why not?
That's right. Close the door. Close it tight. Go on. Go on, close it. Now go in the house. Suicide, that's all. Suicide. Suicide.
And then I went in the garage, and I found him in the car. He was dead.
Try to be calm, please, Mrs. Carlson. I'm not questioning you. This is just a formality that the police must observe.
He was so drunk. Naturally, I couldn't get such a heavy man out of the car. He'd stayed in the garage before, but he always came into the house when he sobered up. This time
Don't distress yourself, Mrs. Carlson. Just take your time.
This time he must have awakened. Still drunk. And he must have started the car and... Oh, it was awful. He wanted so much to live. He had everything to live for.
Thank you, Mrs. Carlson. I'm sorry I was forced to question you. I won't bother you any further.
You've been very kind. But what's going to happen now?
Nothing. Your husband's death was accidental. Carbon monoxide poisoning. We'll just consider the case closed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's pause right here. We'll return to They Drive by Night, starring George Raft, Lana Turner, and Lucille Ball after these messages.
George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Hopalong Cassidy.
Edgar Bergen.
The Shadow.
John and Blanche Bickerson.
The Whistler.
Choose from among thousands of downloadable old-time radio shows and spoken word titles at
MediaBay.com.
The best voice on the net.
Yeah.
Now for the conclusion of They Drive by Night, starring George Raft, Lana Turner, and Lucille Ball on Radio Movie Classics.
A few weeks have passed. With Ed Carlson's death preying on her mind, Marie's brittle poise has disappeared. She's restless, jumpy. Her face is drawn, her eyes haunted. Alone in her living room, she stares out of the window toward the garage. Behind her, a maid comes quietly into the room.
Mrs. Carlson? Oh, did I frighten you? Stop creeping around the house.
I wasn't creeping, ma'am.
I don't want you sneaking around here.
I wasn't doing no sneaking. I was just...
Get out of here. Get out of my sight.
But Mr. Fabrini is here, ma'am.
Joe? Come in, Joe.
Hello, Mrs. Carlson.
Get out, Anna.
Yes, ma'am.
You were supposed to be here at 10 o'clock, Joe.
One of our drivers crashed into a load of pipe.
I don't care about that.
The driver don't either. He's dead.
Oh. I'm sorry. Don't pay any attention to me, Joe. I'm jumpy. Alone in this big house, it gives me the willies. You want a drink?
No, thanks.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sit down, Joe.
What's this business you wanted to see me about?
Look, I don't know anything about that company. It only confuses me. I've tried to understand. The lawyers have been explaining things to me, but the more they talk, the less I know. I can't run a trucking business by myself, Joe. I need someone to help me.
Does that mean me?
Yes. Ed had a lot of confidence in you. He said you had good ideas. I know he'd want you to be my partner.
Partner?
Yes. 50-50 and everything. I had the papers all drawn up.
Oh, yeah?
What's wrong, Joe? Don't you want to own half a big trucking business?
With anyone else, I think this was a great idea. But you? I don't know.
Look, Joe, it's good for me because if I don't get someone to run the company, I'm going to end up losing it. It's good for you because you'll never get a chance like this again.
No interference?
None. I promise you, Joe. I don't know anything about trucks. How could I interfere?
I wasn't talking about trucks.
Oh, you have to help me, Joe. I haven't anyone else to turn to. Please. What's it going to be?
If it's going to be like you say, you can count me in.
Oh, that's swell. Here's to our partnership, Joe. May it be a long and happy one.
Get 'em rolling, Irish.
Okay, Joe.
Good evening, Joe.
Oh, hello. Come on in the office.
These the new trucks you were telling me about?
Yeah. Oh, I see you got a couple of new things yourself. Say, that's a pretty snappy-looking outfit.
You like it? I didn't think you'd notice. It's not too soon for me to stop wearing black, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's the way I felt. I needed some pepping up. So I went out yesterday and bought a whole closet full of clothes and shoes. Joe, you're not going to see me twice in the same outfit for months. I got 6 new Hello, Joe. Oh.
Oh, hiya, honey. Got a kiss for me?
Well, why not? Maybe I'm in the way here.
Oh, Cassie, this is Mrs. Carlson. Mrs. Carlson, Miss Hartley.
I'm glad to know you.
Yes?
Oh, well, if you're talking business, I can wait outside.
Oh, don't go. Mrs. Carlson, Cassie and I were going out for a quick dinner.
Would you like to come along?
No. No, thank you. I don't.
Joe, catch her.
Oh, she passed right out. Get some water, Cassie.
Oh, we better get her to a doctor.
Yeah.
Mrs. Carlson, we're going to take you to a doctor.
No. No, take me home, Joe.
Well, don't you think it would be better?
No, take me home.
Okay, relax. It's all right, Mrs. Carlson. We'll take you home.
Are you feeling any better?
I'm all right.
I'll run the car in the garage for you.
The garage? No, stop. Let me out. Stop it, Joe.
What?
Do you hear? Stop. Let me out.
What's the matter with you? You going crazy?
Let me out. Please. Let me out.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Oh, let me out. Let me out, Joe. Let me out. Sit down, Joe. I'm sorry about last night. I guess my nerves just collapsed.
Well, you ought to go away for a while, get a change. You've been hanging around that house too much.
Yeah. Maybe I will. Your friend Miss Hartley's very nice. Known her long?
Quite a while.
Did you have a nice time after you left me?
It was all right.
Well, you must apologize to Miss Hartley for me.
Oh, she didn't think anything of it.
Joe, how about some dinner?
I ate.
Well, you could sit with me.
Can't do it. I got to get out some estimates. Figures on those new trucks.
Oh, I know. Well, you can do that tomorrow morning.
Oh, I got other things to do in the morning. This is important. It's the only time I have to do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm a fine partner, trying to pull you away from your work. Joe, Frank Connor and his wife are throwing a party at the Grove Friday night. They asked me to bring you along.
Sorry, can't make it.
Can't make it. That's all I ever hear from you. It used to be because my husband was your friend. But he's dead now. He's been dead for months. What's wrong with me now? Why can't you make it?
I'm getting married Friday. Is that a good enough reason?
Married?
That's right.
You getting married? To that redhead?
That's her. Any objections?
Yes, I've got objections. Why do you think you can make a sucker out of me?
Oh, relax now. Take it easy.
Shut up! If it weren't for me, you'd still be kicking trucks up and down the coast. I get Eddie to take you off the road. I put that clean collar around your dirty neck, and I put those creases in your pants. I'm the one who's put that money in your pocket. What makes you think you can walk out on me?
I came in here on a business deal, and I've done all right for you as well as myself.
Oh, don't talk like a fool. I walked you right into a company that was set and established. I gave you Ed's insurance money to buy new trucks. I could have taken anyone off the street who could add 2 and 2, and they'd done just as well or better.
Well, any time you don't like our setup, I can always check out.
You're not getting out. You belong to me, and you're going to stay with me. If you don't like it now, you'll learn to like it. You're not going off marrying that cheap chiseling redhead.
Look, I'm marrying Cassie, and I'm not asking anyone what they think about it. That includes you.
She hasn't any right to you. You're mine, and I'm holding on to you. I committed murder to get you. Murder, do you understand?
You what?
Sure. I killed Ed. I killed him to get you because you're always throwing him in my face. Yes, Mrs. Carlson. No, Mrs. Carlson. Good night, Mrs. Carlson. You made me do it. You understand. I didn't want to kill anyone, but you made me murder Ed, your friend.
You killed Ed? Why, it even makes me sick to look at you.
Where are you going?
I'm getting out. I don't want to ever see you again.
Oh, Joe, don't go.
Keep away from me. Keep away from me. I said and stay away.
Honest, Joe, I didn't mean what I said. I was jealous. I didn't know what I was talking about, Joe. I didn't kill Ed. I didn't kill him. It was
Well,
just
you can
an
save
accident.
that record for someone else. You may need it.
Oh, Joe, please. Please, I'll be a good sport. Marry your girl. I hope you're happy with her, but please. Please don't leave me, Joe. Don't go. Don't go. I didn't want to kill anyone. I didn't want to... He made me do it. I didn't want to kill anyone. Yes, he made me do it. He made me kill him. He made me do it. Hello, operator. I want to speak to the district attorney. The district attorney!
Go ahead, Mrs. Carlson.
He made me kill him. He said he'd kill me if I didn't. I didn't want to do it, but I was afraid of him. I had to do it. Joe wanted the insurance money. He wanted to have everything for himself.
In other words, you were coerced by Fabrini into murdering your husband.
Yes. Yes, that's it. That's it. He made me do it.
Hello, Boyle. Pick up Joseph Fabrini at the Carlson Trucking Company. The charge is murder.
Hello, Cassie.
Oh, Joe.
Oh, relax, kid. How are you, Paul?
Hello, fella. 5 minutes, Joe.
Thanks. Well, Cassie, are you surprised as I am to find me here?
No, I always knew you were a bad guy. You look tired. Didn't they let you sleep?
Oh, I guess I just need a shave. You look a little worn yourself.
Oh, Joe, how are you going to get out of this?
Well, aren't you going to ask me whether I did it or not?
Oh, stop horsing around. We know you didn't do it, but the jury's going to be tougher. The partnership, the insurance dough, the poor helpless dame in your clutches. And what would be her motive turning you in if you ain't guilty?
Oh, that's easy. She saw because I told her I was going to marry Cassie. She didn't have any right to be. I never even once called her by her first name. You believe that, don't you?
I believe it, Joe.
Well, that brings us to the jury again. They'll take one look at that dame, put themselves in your shoes, and call you a liar.
Say, whose side are you on?
I'm just telling you what you're going to hear in the courtroom.
I'm going to see Mrs. Carlson.
No, you're not. You stay away from that dame or she'll hang something on you, too.
Listen, she'll see me if I have to break into her cell with a sledgehammer.
I thought you'd show up. What do you want?
I want you to tell the truth.
And what do you think the truth is?
Joe had nothing to do with killing your husband. And what's more, he had nothing to do with you.
Is that so? Is that so? Well, why do you think I took him into the business? Why did I give him my husband's insurance money to play around with? Because he had an honest face?
Listen, you could talk to me from now on. And you'd never make me believe that Joe ever had anything to do with you.
What makes you so sure of that?
Because I love him.
You love him. You don't know what it is to love a man. I'm the one who loves him, and I'll take him with me wherever I'm going.
Oh, you're rottener than I thought anyone could be. I don't know what you feel for Joe, but it isn't love. Why don't you tell him what really happened? That Joe wouldn't have anything to do with you.
Shut up!
That you killed your husband because he was in the way.
Get out of here!
That you kept throwing yourself at Joe and he wouldn't look at
Get out! Matron! Matron, get her out! Get her out!
Your Honor, gentlemen of the jury, you've heard the testimony of the witnesses. Is there any doubt left in your mind? Joe Fabrini, by reason of duress and threats, employed this woman as ruthlessly as ever a man employed a dagger or gun to commit for profit a brutal, cold-blooded murder. Now the state will call its final witness, the woman herself, Marie Carlson.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name.
Marie Carlson.
Speak up, please.
Marie Carlson.
You were, at the time of his death, the legal wife of Edward Carlson?
Yes.
How long before the death of Edward Carlson were you acquainted with the defendant, Joe Fabrini?
2 years.
Where did you first meet him? I asked Mrs. Carlson where you first met the defendant. Answer the question, please.
He was laughing all the time. He kissed me when he was drunk. So I got a new car and a lot of new clothes. He tells terrible jokes and then laughs at them. And then I killed him. He was drunk and I killed him. I killed him. He's dead. He's dead.
Your Honor, I move that this case be dismissed on the ground that the sole valid witness for the prosecution is obviously insane.
Joe Fabrini freed. Well, I'm glad they spelled my name right. You know, sounds funny, but I can't help feeling sorry for that dame.
Me too, in a way. What about the business, Joe?
I'm giving my share to the boys. After what's happened, I need a change of scenery.
And, what about us?
We're getting married, just like we figured. I'll dig up a new truck, hit the road again, and be on top in no time.
A truck?
Oh, is this going to be an argument?
No, Joe. If that's what you want, I'm with you around every curve.
That's the girl. Well, the boys are waiting in the garage. I'll tell them right now. And that's all there is to it, fellas. After everything that's happened, I don't feel I got the right to stay on here. So I'm giving you boys my share to split between you. And I'm bowing out.
Hey, Joe, wait a second. We can't run this racket.
If you quit, I'll be on relief in a week.
Me too. Sure, Joe, I got 4 kids.
Now, wait, listen.
Joe.
Give us a break.
Oh, all right, wait a minute. Shut up. Shut up, will you, fellas?
Come on.
Listen. Fellas, I'm sure glad you feel this way, but, well, I don't know what to say. What do you think, Cassie?
Your mind's made up, Joe.
Well, fellas, you heard the boss. I guess I'm sticking.
Stay tuned next for the Cavalcade of America.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry.
We bring you a story tonight of Anna Ella Carroll, the great unrecognized member of Abraham Lincoln's cabinet, who worked obscurely but decisively for the president and for the principle of his great struggle, unity in America. Our play was written by Robert Tallman for the Cavalcade Players. Our star, Agnes Moorehead. The orchestra and the original musical score are under the direction of Don Voorhees.
DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry, presents Agnes Moorehead as Anna Ella Carroll on the Cavalcade of America.
Our story begins on a warm day in Washington, not many years after the close of the Civil War. In the House of Representatives, a few scattered congressmen are listening to the clerk as he reads what they believe to be a routine bill. There is only one spectator in the gallery, a little old woman.
For the relief of A.E. Carroll and for acknowledgement of services performed during the recent Civil War. Said services described in the report of the House Military Affairs Committee appended hereto. To wit,
Mr. Speaker, the gentleman from Ohio. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of speedy adjournment, I suggest we dispense with the reading of the report.
It is so ordered.
Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Bragg.
Mr. Speaker, Senator Stanton, the sponsor of this bill in the Senate, is most anxious that this bill be passed. Senator Stanton was Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of War. He's in a position to know the facts.
What are the facts?
Mainly the fact that A.E. Carroll, the petitioner in this bill, was actually, though not in name, a member of the cabinet of Abraham Lincoln.
I don't believe it. A secret cabinet member. Why, next you'll be telling us there was a phantom general as well, riding at the head of a ghostly army. He'll be trying to make us believe that...
I don't believe the gentleman needs to go on. The hour is late. The The air is very humid. Let us recess.
The chair hears no objection. The House is recessed until tomorrow at 12 noon.
Why don't you go home, A.E. Carroll? They're not coming back today. They don't know you're the Phantom General.
Phantom General.
What's that, ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't mean to disturb you, ma'am, but I've got to clear the gallery.
Yes.
They won't be back today.
Yes, of course. I was just leaving. I felt a bit faint for a moment. This heat.
Oh. You take my arm, ma'am. I'll see you get out, all right?
Oh, thank you. You're very kind.
Can you get home all right, you think?
Yes. Yes, I'll be myself again soon, I'm sure. My hotel is quite near here.
Hurry, A.E. Carroll. It's getting late. No, mustn't take a carriage. There isn't much money left, you know. It's raining, but you've walked in the rain before. There's Pennsylvania Avenue, the top of the hill.
Phantom General. Strange his saying that.
That hurt, didn't it? Don't think of it now. Here's your street, the third gaslight. Here's the hotel, the carpet shabby, old. Wait, you haven't the key. Better stop at the desk.
Here you are, ma'am.
No mail for A.E. Carroll?
No, still no mail, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. I seem to have gotten rather wet. If you'd be so kind as to send Mrs. Kelly around.
I think she's waiting for you, ma'am.
Oh? Oh, thank you. And about the bill, I'll see Mr. Collins in the morning.
I'll tell him.
Up one flight through a musty corridor. Dingy old hotel. Pause now before the door. The key in the lock.
Miss Carroll, you sit down and let me help you off with these wet shoes.
Oh, thank you kindly, Mrs. Kelly.
How did the debate go in Congress today?
They were talking about a Phantom General.
Oh, so it's phantoms now and the taxpayers' money. There now. Get up. We'll get this wet thing off you.
Oh, thank you.
There. Now, a nice warm robe. Isn't that better?
Yeah, it's wonderful, Mrs. Kelly. And before you go, if you do just one more thing.
Get your little trunk from under the bed.
Yes, please.
There you are, Miss Carroll. And if you need anything else, just call me.
Thank you.
Phantom General. That's you, isn't it, A.E. Carroll? And this little chest with its gold clasp. That's all that's left, isn't it? Open it up. What's that on top? A locket with a miniature, Love Forever, from John to Anne. You don't want to look at that, do you, A.E. Carroll? You're the Phantom General. Put it aside quickly. Look at this letter. My dear lady, it begins. And it's signed A. Lincoln. And here's one from Tom Scott. Tom Scott. Does he remember? Does he remember that day in 1861 when he went to the White House to see the president?
Tom, this pamphlet by A.E. Carroll, this reply to John Breckinridge, gives me a means of saving Maryland to the Union.
But, Mr. President...
For months, I've had the Attorney General looking for a way to deal with traitors in the state legislatures. He couldn't find it. But here it is, one A.E. Carroll. Huh. Tom, I must have Carroll in my cabinet. Who is he, anyway?
Well, that is, I'm not certain it'd be entirely,
You mean he's got a better job?
Well, no, that is not exactly, Mr. President.
Tom, what's the matter with you? I asked you a question. Who is this A.E. Carroll?
Well, I scarcely believe you'll find the name listed in any of the bar associations, Mr. President. As a matter of fact...
He's not a member of the bar. Who cares? Tom, I tell you, this A.E. Carroll must be in my cabinet. You get hold of him. Send him in to see me. Right away.
Miss Anna Ella Carroll.
Mr. President?
Well, Miss Carroll, this is indeed a pleasure.
You're surprised, Mr. President?
Frankly, I am.
You're disappointed?
Not because you're a woman, Miss Carroll. You seem to have overcome that handicap quite nicely. I refer, of course, to the splendid legal work, your reply to John Breckenridge.
John Breckenridge and I have been acquainted for a long time, Mr. President. I've had some practice in answering his arguments.
And some experience in law as well, I gather.
Yes, I was secretary to my father when he was governor of Maryland.
Then old Charles Carroll, the signer of the Declaration, is your kinsman.
I'm proud to say so, Mr. President.
I knew it. A document such as this would have to come straight from the fountainhead of the Republic.
Precious few of old Charles Carroll's descendants think as I do, I'm afraid.
One like you is enough, Miss Carroll.
No, Mr. President, one is not enough. That declaration Charles Carroll helped to frame begins, "We the people hold these truths to be self-evident." The people still do, even in the South. If they didn't, if I didn't believe they still do, I wouldn't have come here to see you.
You were right about your own state of Maryland, Miss Carroll. But what are we going to do about those other people who don't hold those truths to be self-evident?
I think, Mr. President, to some men, law is not a matter of protection and convenience, but a sort of religion. Give them a gospel of wartime law according to the legal saints of the early republic. Then they will cease to shout tyrant every time you act to save the Union.
You remember what happened to Moses when he tried that, Miss Carroll?
Moses made the mistake of submitting the laws himself. He should have had them presented by a sensible member of the opposition.
Would you be willing to write such a work, Miss Carroll?
I'd be willing to try.
I'm going to make you an offer. It may sound strange to you at first, but I want you to consider it very carefully.
Yes, Mr. President.
I want to offer you a job in my cabinet.
But no woman has ever held such a position, Mr. President.
It's never been necessary before, Miss Carroll. Of course, you understand
that it would have to remain a deep, dark secret. Naturally, Mr. President.
Well, what about it?
Mr. President, I accept.
Good. Sergeant.
Yes, Mr. President?
Step outside and bring in Captain Evans.
Right away, Mr. President. Captain Evans.
I hope you like this fellow.
Yes, Mr. President.
Come on in, Captain Evans. I want you to meet the newest member of my cabinet, Miss Ann Carroll.
Cabinet?
Miss Carroll, Captain Evans. Captain Evans will be your military aide, Miss Carroll.
I'm sure Captain Evans and I shall get on splendidly.
Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
How do you do, sir?
Remember, Captain Evans, you were to treat Miss Carroll as she had the rank of a major general.
There's a photograph of Lincoln, the way he looked that first year of the war, A.E. Carroll. Remember? And here's Hiram Evans in the uniform of the Army Intelligence. It was he who made your job something more than cabinet member, author of Lincoln's authority on wartime law. Remember that day in the old Mercantile Library in St. Louis? You went there to do research.
Just make yourself at home, Miss Carroll. Any books you want that don't seem to be on the shelves, just let me know.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnston. As a matter of fact, you can help me a great deal today. Captain Evans has urgent business elsewhere. Isn't that so, Captain Evans?
Oh, yes. I'll call for you at 4:30, Miss Carroll.
Thank you, Captain.
So long, Miss Carroll. So long, Mr. Johnston.
Talks like a Texan, that chap.
How clever of you to have guessed it. He's trying to locate relatives here in St. Louis so he can get back to his regiment in Texas.
Why, I thought you were both Northerners.
You wouldn't tell on us, would you, Mr. Johnston?
Oh, no. Why, my brother's one of the biggest generals on the Confederate side.
General Johnston?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I might have known. You both have that firm jaw and those steely gray eyes.
Not many folks notice the resemblance. I'm flattered that you do, ma'am.
What a pity. All those fine, talented young men, like your brother, throwing their lives away in a lost cause.
I beg your pardon, ma'am.
I deplore it. I deeply deplore it. But our South hasn't got a chance of winning, Mr. Johnston. Well, already General Fremont is building gunboats to float down the Mississippi.
Those gunboats? What a joke, Miss Carroll. Why, the Mississippi's bristling with forts. They won't get to Vicksburg.
Your brother must have quite a large force, then.
Not as large as people think.
Oh?
But he's got 'em bluffed, Miss Carroll. Why, he's even got Jeff Davis fooled how many men he really has.
Are you sure?
I know. Look on this map here. I wouldn't tell this to anybody but you, Miss Carroll.
Yes.
But I know just how he's got his columns arranged so as to fool 'em. There's more there than there really are. Now, here's the Tennessee River. Here's the Cumberland.
Why, you've got the whole formation marked on here.
Every detail. That's my hobby, keeping track of my brother.
Well, if I could only show this map to Captain Evans, it would cheer him so much to know that things are going so well for our men.
Well, take it along, Miss Carroll.
Well,
But don't lose it.
Oh, no, I won't.
If this ever fell into the hands of General Grant or General Halleck, it'd be just too bad.
Indeed it would.
Duck, Miss Carroll, duck.
You're falling close, aren't you?
Yes. I should never have let you come so close to the front lines.
Captain, there's a lull. We'd better run for it.
No, Miss Carroll, wait. Miss Carroll.
Hurry, Captain.
Miss Carroll, come back before it's too late.
We must save our breath, Captain.
We're running straight into their line of fire.
Captain Evans, please.
Stop here, Miss Carroll. Keep down. Yeah. We're protected now by this hedge. You can see General Halleck's headquarters just ahead.
The sentry's coming up. Better call to him, Captain.
Oh, who goes there?
It's all right, Sentry. Here are papers.
From the president. All right, you can pass.
Lead the way, Captain Evans.
Tennessee River, indeed. You're raving, sir. If I may say so, General Grant, you reek of liquor as well.
Now, what's my business, General Halleck? If I may say so, you're wasting precious time. It should be obvious to any child that the Mississippi flows the wrong way. Gunboats would have to
Wait
retreat.
here, Captain Evans. I want to hear this.
As you say, ma'am.
Tennessee, as I was saying, General Halleck, Tennessee flows north from the very heart of the South. Furthermore, Johnston's army...
What about Johnston's army, General?
Oh, Miss Carroll, been expecting you. Excuse us. Military matters, you know. Very heated.
I'm very much interested in military matters.
Oh, are you, ma'am?
Oh, this General Grant, Miss Carroll.
I'm honored. General Grant, I'm interested in what you were saying about the Tennessee because I've just returned from a trip up there.
You mean to say you've been into the enemy territory?
Oh, I was quite safe, I can assure you. I was piloted up by Captain Scott. General Grant's old pilot, I believe.
Fine old man. I'm sorry to lose him.
He knows every island, every shoal, every eddy in that river, and the Cumberland as well.
He knows the Mississippi, that's certain. He says it's folly to take gunboats down it.
General Grant, we cannot take the testimony of a drunken flatboat pilot where the fate of the nation is at stake.
You don't have to, General Halleck.
What do you mean, ma'am?
Abraham Lincoln once floated a bunch of hogs down the Mississippi on a raft. He knows the river, too. I think he'll agree with Captain Scott.
You appear to know the president rather well, ma'am.
Well, the president has confided in me that he's none too well pleased with the results of this Western campaign, General Halleck.
What is the president's idea, ma'am?
He believes we need more daring generalship. In fact, he asked me to report on any men who seem to have out-of-the-ordinary ideas and ability.
Well, I trust you're well pleased with what you've seen here, Miss Carroll?
Why, General Halleck, what a question. But tell me, General Grant was saying something about the Tennessee River and the possibility of a Cumberland offensive.
General Halleck and I are in disagreement. The wisdom of that.
Does General Halleck know that Johnston has less than a third of the army he's reputed to have?
Impossible. Are you sure of your information?
Yes, and if you move quickly, you can end the war before the year is out. Take gunboats up the Tennessee, cut the railroad bridge, and then you'll have stopped the Confederate food supply.
What? I haven't the authority.
Then get it. General Grant, I have some maps and notes here which I wish you'd have copied and sent on to General McClellan in Washington.
Well, Miss Carroll, you misunderstand my position. I'm not in command here, you know.
Naturally. I merely thought you, and General Halleck, of course, might be interested in looking over this material. I'll say goodbye to you, gentlemen, now. I must get back to Washington. I've found what I was looking for.
Huh? Listen to them out there, Miss Carroll. Celebrating McClellan's victories. Your victories. And we can't tell them the truth. But God willing, they shall know the truth when this war is mercifully ended.
There is a way to end it quickly, Mr. President. If only General McClellan would have them strike for Vicksburg now before the enemy recovers.
I know. But McClellan is adamant. And how can I change the high command at a time like this?
Is McClellan afraid that General Grant will rise in favor, Mr. President?
General Grant?
Surely you knew it was General Grant and not General Halleck who carried out the Tennessee campaign, Mr. President.
I know General Grant held the lines, yes, but McClellan said...
That Grant drinks? Yes, that's true, I'm afraid. But he can take Vicksburg.
You're sure of that, Miss Carroll?
I am.
By the way, you didn't by any chance find out what brand of whiskey Grant drinks, did you?
That was the real general. The one who held the lines. And were you just that? A phantom general, A.E. Carroll? Pick up that letter there. The official-looking one. Oh, yes, that's from Stanton. Stanton knew, didn't he? Stanton knew about Vicksburg and the Cumberland, how you cleared a path for Sherman through Georgia to the sea. Planned it all sitting right here, in this bare hotel room. And when victory finally came, the president.
Thank God, Stanton, it's all over at last. We must tell the people now. We must tell them who won those battles.
Mr. President, what would be the effect on a war-worn nation of learning that their fate has been in the hands of a civilian, and a woman at that?
I suppose you're right. But before I leave this office, Stanton, if I live, Ann Carroll will have public recognition.
The courage to tell that secret died with Abraham Lincoln, didn't it, Anne? You don't like being called Anne, do you, A.E. Carroll? Phantom General? Whose is the picture in the locket inscribed, Love Forever from John to Anne? Isn't that John Breckinridge, who was Vice President of the United States and afterwards fought with the Confederates? You don't want to remember that, do you? You go back to the picture of Grant, that day he came to see you here.
Oh, that's a very pretty chime to that clock, Miss Carroll.
You know, that little china clock is all I have left of what was once my home. Kingsford Hall, our plantation in Maryland.
You've never even been back to see it?
Yes, once. It nearly broke my heart. The house wanted paint, and the Negroes were in rags with gunny sacks around their feet in place of shoes. They didn't even know they were free. Or if they did, they didn't know what to do about it. Yes, we destroyed a very beautiful way of life, General Grant.
You must have had many friends on the Confederate side. Isn't that a picture of John Breckinridge there?
John Breckinridge. Yes. We were very close, John and I, for years. But there was a difference between us too deep to reconcile.
Tell me, Miss Carroll, is your own fortune entirely gone?
Fortune? I never had any fortune. If I'd been willing to sell my slaves to the Yankee traders, I'd have had something. But no, I worked and made a living for them and myself. I used to give legal advice over teacups and then shock my clients by asking for a fee. A lady, it seems, should work for nothing.
I don't wonder you're embittered. But did you never get any reward for your work in Lincoln's cabinet?
Yes. I earned the friendship of the greatest man who ever lived, Abraham Lincoln.
In a shabby hotel in Washington, D.C., an old lady puts her treasures back into a little humpback trunk and shoves it under the brass bedstead. She looks about the bare room that is now her only home. Military maps decorate the wall. On the mantelpiece ticks a lovely china clock, relic of a proud past. She sighs and blows out the lamp. So our story ends.
Thanks to Agnes Moorehead and the Cavalcade players for their performance of the story of that little-known member of Abraham Lincoln's cabinet, Anna Ella Carroll, who died officially unrecognized for her great work in preserving the union of these states. And now DuPont brings you news of chemistry at work in our world.
This is the time of year when women say, "John, I want you just to look at that hallway." And husbands wish they could take long trips to Alaska. Painting time. I'm going through it at my house right now. My wife holds a dinky strip of color about 1 inch square against the wall, and then I say, "Yes, but will it look that way when they paint the whole room?" Well, in answer to that question, I have good news. To make redecorating easier, DuPont paint experts have worked out a surefire color selector that shows you exactly how your house will look with new paint, inside or out, before you paint it. Here's how it works. The color selector is arranged in the form of a book, which you can see at your DuPont paint dealers, or your contractor will bring it to your home. In the selector are pictures of houses, all sorts of houses, from a Cape Cod cottage to the Mediterranean style that's popular in Southern California. But here's the trick. The pictures are printed on transparent cellophane cellulose film. Suppose you would like to see how your house would look painted, say, in white. You place one of the transparent pictures of a house like yours over the sheet painted white, and there you have it, your white house. How would it look if you painted the shutters blue? You place a blue painted sheet underneath the body color, and there is a completely styled white house with royal blue shutters. To style the interior of your house, you simply glance through the book until you find the picture of a living room or a bedroom like yours, complete with furniture and draperies, but with the walls and other paintable surfaces left transparent. You place this picture over a sheet painted with the color you have in mind, and there is the way your room will look when the painters have finished. Among the colors offered by the color selector is a new group of especial interest to friends of Cavalcade. 11 beautiful shades have been named the Cavalcade of America colors. The story behind them is an interesting one. In colonial times in America, paint was a luxury. Only a very few people could afford to paint their houses inside or out. But the people who could afford it used paint with exquisite taste. The colors they chose for the paneling and trim in their homes were much like our pastel tints, but darker, with a rich, smoky quality. Powder blues and apple greens and so on. You can still see them in museums, more beautiful than ever, if anything, because they've aged. For years, paint chemists have been trying to recapture these charming old colonial colors, and at last, they've succeeded. These are the new Cavalcade colors. The color selector not only shows exactly how they will look, but gives your painter the formulas for achieving them. Anyone who is planning to redecorate, especially anyone with early American furniture and draperies, will find them authentic and handsome. Whatever brings beauty and harmony to our daily surroundings, DuPont chemists do not hesitate to include on the long list of better things for better living through chemistry.
And now the star of next week's program, John McIntyre of the Cavalcade Players.
Our play is about Andrew Jackson. Not the well-known story of Old Hickory in the White House, but Jackson is a young man, a fighting lawyer in the wilderness. When bringing law and order to the frontiers meant justice with a hard right. We hope you'll join us for this story on next week's Cavalcade of America.
Cavalcade gratefully acknowledges its obligation for new material which appeared in Marjorie Barstow Greenby's book, My Dear Lady, recently published by Whittlesey House. On the Cavalcade of America, your announcer is Clayton Collier, sending best wishes from DuPont.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
And that's the way it was on Monday, June 2nd, 1941. My name is Henry Choppy, your host, and in a second, I will tell you what we are going to listen to tomorrow night, Tuesday, June 3rd, 1941. If you enjoy these programs, these old-time radio programs, and the Hit Parade Jukebox, you know, all the movie, the big band stuff, the news programs, the speeches, all the stuff as we are ramping up, as the snowball is getting bigger, as we roll on towards active involvement in World War II by the United States. Please subscribe to this channel and click on that bell icon to get notifications when a new upload is going to premiere. And also, please contribute to the channel. This channel does not make any money from any ads that you see on it. I do this simply for the love of old-time radio and the interest of World War II. If you expand that description section, you will not only see all the programs that you heard tonight, and they are time-checked for your convenience, you will also see a couple links. One is to a GoFundMe, one is to PayPal, and you can donate either way. I do not see any of your financial situation. The only thing I see is your name, any messages that you might want to send me, and the amount that you are contributing. I do purchase some of these programs to get them in better quality than what you would get from the free sites. I do that whenever I can. Many times simply the free sites are the only places that you can find certain programs. You can't find them any place to buy them. But I do try to get the best quality programs that I can many times. Sometimes something just completely eludes me. All right, let me tell you what we are going to listen to tomorrow night. Well, we have the Goldbergs, Vic and Sade, Lum and Abner, and the Bob Hope Show. I could not find a Fibber McGee and Molly program from this state, but it is pretty cool that we have a Bob Hope program from this state to ease the slack a little bit. But it really bums me out that I could not find that don't you love it when you get tongue-tied? That Fibber McGee and Molly program. I must have searched a half dozen places, then I finally looked in an availability and episodic log, and it said that this program is not available for whatever reason. Maybe somebody who had the transcription, the only recording of the program that was originally made, decided that he was mad at his brother or something and threw it like a frisbee, and it shattered against the wall. Who knows what might have happened to the program? By the way, that's just a joke. I would not endorse throwing records at each other, especially those old heavy radio transcription discs. Well, until tomorrow night, same time, same station, let's turn off this old tube radio. That's our time machine. Good night. God bless.
This changing world, this changing scene, where is it taking us? What does it mean? As long as we're certain of each other, we know we don't have to be afraid. These changing times we rise above. We have no time for them. We have our love, and love is the only thing that still remains the same through all this change.